looking from my hotel room this morning, I could see that they were out there with all these different agencies and groups running checkpoints around the city. And I just watched a whole bunch of TSA people wearing bright blue windbreaker jackets go into the federal building. By the time we got the cameras on, they were already inside. So expect to see a bunch of people that have TSA on their bright blue outfits out here. So that's just some of what's going on here today. But they've got the Dallas County school police out here. They've got everybody out here. And there is a checkpoint that they're running over here. So we're going to see. And it's wanding. It's wanding. Prisoner training, because the establishment killed Kennedy and brought in a police state. Now they are treating us all for our prisoner induction training. Only in America do you have this, where the criminal government fly by helicopter and isn't searched, but the school children are to get into this event. Absolutely amazing. Down here live covering all of this. Sir, which line should we get into particularly? Trying to find out. Yes. No, I'm going into the media area. I was already in there. Oh, okay. Sure. Where am I supposed to go in when they have the media around back over there where the TV crews are? So, like, all the streets are blocked over here? And again, get this on video. School children are being searched here. School children are being searched to go into this. This is the total prisoner training right over here. Absolute total prisoner training. Oh, so I get it. I was in there yesterday, but now they've pushed back the perimeter further. So I need to call the media folks. I understand. Hey, the shot's right here, bro. Shot's like right over here. Come over here and do it. Here. This is the best shot right here. All right, again, I'm out here directing folks while we're live on the audio and video streams at Infowars.com. And right over there is where all this is going. Sure, thank you. Anyways, so how many streets are closed down?
All the way around the corner, the whole perimeter.
All right, so it's all been closed. All right, so again, where is that particular park we're going to? I want you to call Richard and tell him we are going with my original plan. They did shut it all down. Let's go to the park where Gucciardi's meeting all the people, okay? Now, I know we met at the, again, particular park, but now I need one of you to call Richard and to bring Dew and them over here to pick us up or to tell us the name of the park, because I don't have all that on me. I'm doing the live broadcast. In fact, Leanne, do you know what the park is we're meeting everybody at? That's right, Below Garden. And can we pull that up? Okay, pull that up on the phone, and we will go over there. So, as they promised to do, we probably should have gotten in here even earlier this morning, they have locked it down, and they have this private security company searching the school kids to get in, patting them down with TSA-style prisoner training. We're talking about elementary school students. But meanwhile, all that is allowed in is the corporate establishment media, so that they can sit up there and project the official story over and over again. Okay, so you know where Below Park is? Fantastic. So you know which way to go. Okay, fantastic. Follow McAdoo. Again, because this is all impromptu, folks, as we're down here and we change plans. And we've had our force of reporters split into 3 today so they can cover from different angles. And so we need to call Rob Dew so he can tell Richard to come and drop everyone off now so they understand at Below Park and our Below Gardens. And again, we're broadcasting on 104.1 citywide, correct? And so everybody listening to my voice, all the info warriors, we were going to go down there and not interrupt the memorial propaganda service. Believe me, JFK would not want them to be using his death to push their police state. But now we're definitely going to have to demonstrate, because they have shut it down 4 blocks in all directions. Absolutely incredible. And there are masses of school children who are being allowed in to be propagandized and brainwashed and getting off buses, and they're being searched. TSA style while that happens, while that goes on. Hey, I tell you what, tell them to tune in to 100.41. I'll give them instructions over the radio. I'll do it that way. I am the chief cook, bottle washer, coordinator. I pay the bills, I carry out the trash, and I love it because this is the real Infowar, 104.1 FM, and you've got here all of the so-called establishment types that have all pledged here that they believe. These are folks getting off these buses and then being sent down to then go through the TSA style searching. And again, I show this crowd here. I would imagine that there are going to be TSA people out searching, as I saw about 8 of them go in a building with about 10 other cops. So we're down here right now showing everyone who's disgorging to go be props in this movie production, this Hunger Games production of The Lone Gunman Killed the President, and Keebler Elves are real, and Santa Claus is real. And you look at these people that are getting off these buses that are being allowed into the event, and they look absolutely proud. They just look pleased as punch to feel like they're part of the establishment. They were the select people, the 10% of the population that believes that JFK acted alone. JFK acted alone, that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. And again, I'm out here broadcasting live. We're going to switch over to the main radio feed coming up here in just a few minutes. If the crew is listening to me, we are headed down to Below Gardens, and we're on the right direction. And we are following McAdoo there right now. So here we go. And, oh, here's a good shot right here. The city that helped cover up the murder of JFK is now here basically acting like they care about JFK and trying to keep the First Amendment down. They told us we wouldn't be allowed down there yesterday, but we went through their blockade and they backed down. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with the police. And this is just one area down here. They're going to have to write a lot of tickets. They're going to have to write a lot of tickets to be able to pay for all this because, they're not going to be able to write tickets all day out there and raise money and find people who have marijuana in their car or other drugs shipped in by the government to put in jail. So, again, Network, we're going to go to break here in just a few minutes, and we'll make it on down to the park where we're going to have our free speech march down to the barricades just to exercise free speech because the mayor said that it didn't exist. But, again, we are out here on the 50th anniversary of the murder of John F. Kennedy, and it is pretty cold. Now, where is Leanne McAdoo and Darren McBreen? Darren McBreen, you're out here today. We're walking. McAdoo did not bring sufficient clothing, but Darren McBreen, what do you make of this cordon and all these police?
This is crazy. I'd say a lot has changed since the JFK assassination 50 years ago. We now live in a country where the right to peaceably assemble and demonstrate requires government permission, or in this case, it's just prohibited, or we're not even supposed to be here. They've threatened us with arrest. So this is a spectacle. I'd say a lot has changed since back then.
That's right. And again, they were going to arrest us or give us tickets. Man, it is windy here. Are you freezing to death, McAdoo? There's McAdoo.
McAdoo is shutting
like
down.
a wet poodle out here.
Shutting down.
Anyways, 104.1, we are transmitting the people's voice of liberty against tyranny, against the state-run media. And they have got all the major streets cordoned off and blocked to make sure that none of the slaves can come interfere. Because we would be like Toto. We would be like Toto. What are you particularly showing me? Oh, yeah, they got a mobile police camera unit here. Look at this. So you guys just went to the break? Okay, we'll go to the network till David Knight brings me in. We're good. Does that sound good, guys? All right, we're going to go to break here, guys, and come back live with the official radio show. We're carrying live feeds during all the commercials down here, Infowars.com/show. David Knight's coming up, and he'll introduce us.
and go. Shop online now at Freeze.
Welcome to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight here in Austin. Now, Alex is in Dallas. This is the 50th anniversary of the assassination of JFK. And if we look at the official flyer from them, they say this is the 50th. They don't say the 50th what. And they say it's honoring the memory of President John F. Kennedy. The elephant in the room is the fact that he was killed in Dallas. If they're going to honor the memory, they could do it in Massachusetts or somewhere where it was his home. The reason that this is happening today, that they don't want to talk about, that they don't want anybody to see, is because he was assassinated there. And they don't want anybody to look at the details because the details in the official story just don't add up. And just as that liner said, government cover-ups. We want answers. And so Alex Jones is live on the street. He's on his way to Below Gardens because they've got an area there cordoned off about 4 blocks around where the Dog and Pony show. They have a big opera ceremony. The Dallas Symphony Orchestra is going to be there. A lot of songs, Star Spangled Banner, America the Beautiful. If you look at the program, it's kind of a big pageant that they've got set up, but they're ignoring the obvious questions. But Alex is on the street right now, and he's got some information for us. It's pretty cold there, isn't it, Alex?
It is. We're going to be reporting down here for the next 3 hours from Dealey Plaza. Again, thank you for joining us. It is November 22nd, 2013, the 50th anniversary of the shadow government, the criminal elements of the government assassinating John F. Kennedy. And since then, demonizing anyone that questions their official narrative and their fairy tale. And David, you crystallized it all so simply there. We've got to repeat this over and over again because it's the facts. This so-called memorial is about letting the state-run media, as they've been doing the last week, regurgitate the official narrative over and over again and demonize anyone that questions their propaganda. And they have now blocked it back about 3-4 blocks from Dealey Plaza in 2 directions, about 2 blocks where we're at. And we're going to go down, we knew this would happen, to meet folks to then march down for the First Amendment from the Below Gardens. And Below, as a media company, radio, TV, newspapers, has always been at the heart of attacking anyone that questions the official story. Imagine not believing known liars. You're a conspiracy theorist, according to their rules, if you think Obamacare is a scam and kicks people off insurance and raises premiums. You don't have to argue with us. Just call us racist or call us a conspiracy theorist. It's just a, hey, I don't talk to you. You don't exist. You're bad. Shut up. So as of this morning, up in the hotel room, I could look down into Dealey Plaza. And, in fact, that is another really good point, folks. We actually have cards to that hotel, so they have to let us in. That's another point that I hadn't even thought of. So later, we're going to try to use that to get in there to our hotel and see what happens with that. Absolutely. But, again, there's going to be a lot happening. We're going to recap everything that's happened today. And then also we'll take breaks off and on so David Knight can cover all the other top stories that are on Infowars.com and Prisonplanet.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at Real Alex Jones. I have met so many incredible people out here, especially last night. It was electric, and I just met a really neat person, a very interesting artist. I'll just leave it at that. But a very exciting, a shout-out to her. And it's just so amazing to be around people that see that this country is turning into an authoritarian police state and that we're not going to go along with it. And then we came down here and defied the mayor saying no First Amendment, no handing out flyers, no being around Dealey Plaza for a week before. We went down there. We stood up for the First Amendment. And I want to salute everybody that came out here and did that and was part of that. So we're going to go to break here in a moment with David. We're going to come back as we march up to the gardens to meet up with liberty lovers and First Amendment supporters and heretics that question the official story. So we'll be right back again. I'm Alex Jones reporting for the 50th anniversary of the assassination of JFK. We're down here researching assassination history, political assassination, and defeating the mainstream corporate whore state-run media. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight here in Austin. And in Dallas, we have Alex Jones and crew covering the 50th anniversary of the JFK assassination. Now, reading from the official flyer, listen to this. The 50th. They don't say what. The 50th, honoring the memory of President John F. Kennedy, is a public memorial taking place November 22nd. Now, we've just seen Alex turned away. We've just seen police state barricades. We've seen them patting down children. You know, if you'll believe the official story about the Kennedy assassination and Lee Harvey Oswald, I guess you can believe that little children are a threat to this country and that we need armies of police state, TSA-type employees patting down everybody and controlling every checkpoint. Alex, you there? You're on your way to Below Gardens, right?
Yes, sir. In fact, I'm about to arrive at Below Gardens right now, where it looks like about 100 people have already assembled about 30, 45 minutes early. In about 30, 45 minutes, if you're listening to us locally on 104.1, the Patriot channel we put up for the few days, to go through the electronic Berlin wall of censorship, you can come down and join us at the corner of Commerce Street and Griffith. It's just about 5 blocks away from Dealey Plaza. Again, you can just search engine it. It's very, very easy. We're going to march on Main down to the barricades where they have literal TSA. Actually says TSA. I saw TSA coming in out of federal buildings, and they have people searching the folks that are there. So absolutely amazing that this is going on. They've now blocked it off, I don't know, 3, 4 blocks on one end, 3, 4 blocks on the other, 2 blocks on another side. And then I don't know how many blocks on this side. When we march down, we will find out. But they've got police a good 7, 8 blocks up the street, even where I'm looking down the road. Huge police presence here. And it is a very cold day. I guess about 35 degrees or so. I can feel sleet hitting me in the face. Because of the bad weather, we were unable to get the aircraft up into the air with the banner towing to get the word out to folks. But we are here at the Below Gardens right now. Yeah, good job being there, folks. And they have a giant megaphone made out of wood here that will show TV viewers. If you're watching on Infowars.com/show, or radio listeners can just search Below Gardens and see an image of this giant megaphone that they've set up and put out here.
Their passports expired, and they just never renewed it, or so you can.
It's got droning recordings coming out of it. Totally bizarre. So we're here, but David Knight said it perfectly earlier. This is a giant, I said a week. I mean, it's got to be 2, 3 weeks that they've every night on the news, TV, building towards a crescendo, pushing the official narrative that's already collapsed like Humpty Dumpty into a million pieces. They're pushing this official narrative over and over and over and over again that one lone guy did it. And then we've talked to people that are allowed to go in. You've got to promise to say nothing. You're not allowed to have cameras. Even you're not allowed to have cell phones. You've got to be patted down. You've got to agree with the official story, basically, to go in as props for the big stage, like you're in the Hunger Games or something. And we've got the guys accidentally turning it on here. Just show you how. It's right here. There you go, folks. That's the on-off switch for the bullhorn. All right, we are broadcasting worldwide here. Anyways. Well, I didn't know that, too. You got to have that bullhorn for a while until you know that. Anyways, oh, man, this has been a crazy couple days here. It is so awesome to be here with you in defense of liberty. Yeah. So what they're here to do is basically have a giant stage like Wizard of Oz or Hunger Games so they can just keep pushing the same narrative, the same lie over and over and over and over again. And I see a lot of parents here that have brought their children out today. I can't think of a better real education than learning about how the media is controlled in this country, how we have a state-run media, how they're literally setting this up for the world stage to push propaganda on the world and to make the planet think that Americans believe the official story of the JFK murder, because it's as high as 91% in many scientific polls, on average 85% or so. They vary. Robert Groden agreed with that number, and he's one of the foremost experts in the world on it. But overseas, it's in the mid-90s, as high as 95, 96. I mean, no one believes it except for establishment people who don't believe it either. They just understand it's important to lie to everybody and play along. There's no shadow government. There's no bad men. Big government never does anything bad in history. Everything the government tells you is true. Everything the mainstream media tells you is true. But don't believe any citizen journalist. Don't believe any activist. No, whatever you do. And it's not a bad thing that in Tiananmen Square, they don't let you onto the square for political speech or to hand out leaflets. Then it's not bad that in Dallas, the mayor said, we want to be like the communist Chinese government. We want to absolutely shut down everybody's free speech and arrest you if you demonstrate, arrest you if you march, arrest you if you hand out flyers, arrest you if you have signs. So we came here in defiance of all that. We came here in defiance of this tyranny. So there it is. John F. Kennedy, the very word secrecy. Let me read that to folks on air. Let me read your sign, brother. And I've actually got the recording of this. I think it was at Columbia University about a month before he got killed. The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. My gosh, he was a conspiracy theorist. He probably thought water was wet and ducks quack. Hey, is that John B. Wells over there? Come on over here, brother. Yeah, I got to tell everybody something. Host of Coast to Coast AM on the weekend does a great job with George Norrie and the rest of the team. That's a sharp coat, brother. Good to meet you in person. Listen to this, folks. I apologize, but I wasn't told I was supposed to speak at some event. No one ever told me. And then the crew went out to it, and they come back and they go, yeah, there's your name tag, your top billing with John B. Wells. So I wish I would have known about that in time yesterday. I would have come, but that's a dangerous thing sometimes when folks put you on the marquee and then you don't show up, but then you don't even know. But then if you do show up, well, then who knows what's going to happen. But I tell you, man, this is crazy. It's good to meet you in person. Feel like I know you from all the times you've been on with us via video Skype. We're out here. What do you make of what you've seen happen the last few days? I know you are a Dallasite. You live here, but you're not allowed to go inside of that perimeter, even though you have 16 million listeners.
I'm normally not at a loss for words, but I'll keep it short. I think they're worried about something. Look at all this police action around here. Federal police right across the street. Never thought I'd live to see the day when we had federal police. I don't understand what they're so worried about. And then again, yes, I do. Because it's just, like the sign says, 50 years of lies. And that's what it is. Matter of fact, that manhole cover I've been singing out about that connects to that shaft, last Thursday I was down there shooting some video, 4 fresh little weld marks right on it. And there are rumors that the street, the grade of the street is going to be changed so that all evidence, all food for thought will be removed. And a few years go by and people forget about it, or at least that's what they're counting on it. But I don't think we're going to forget about it. We have to get to the truth of this before this country will ever heal over this tragedy.
Well, what's amazing is a lot of people I know tried to get permits to get in and be part of the media. But if you're real media or alternative media, not state-run, it doesn't matter if I've got millions of listeners. It doesn't matter if other newspapers have thousands and thousands of readers. It doesn't matter if you have tens of millions of listeners. They don't care. You've got to be part of the establishment that for 50 years they're all complicit together, covering it up. And the mayor was saying they were going to arrest people that demonstrated or handed out flyers. I think we've had a big victory standing up to them.
Yes, we have. As Brzezinski said recently, the alternative media is what stopped the Syrian action. Maybe we can stop this action.
And you know, we've been the alternative media for a long time, but now we're the real media. They know the establishment media is imploding. 16%, 17% approval rating, trust rating, and Gallup. They're dead. I just don't think they know it yet. We don't just have zombie banks. We have zombie media. So we're the living, true media, the reality media. They're the fraud media.
It's the passing of generations. We are the generation now that will replace them. And regardless of what they do, we now have the means, we have the internet, and we have the will to get to the truth and reveal the truth and reveal in the revelation of the truth of what happened to John Kennedy. We will also know how it is that we have had our great awakening, and we've awakened to the fact that we're shrouded in shadow, and we will be the generation that clears those shadows away, that brings the light to it.
What are you going to be doing today out here? Are you going to march with us?
Absolutely.
That sounds pretty un-American, to march for free speech.
Well, hey, you know, put whatever T-shirt on me you want that's anti-establishment. That's me. I've lived through several decades of this and just continue to ask questions and got no answer. So I'm with you and everybody who's here.
But you know, asking questions, like Kennedy said we should do, is a thought crime. Do you want to apologize to the head of Homeland Security and others for asking questions?
No, I'd say quit while you still can, gracefully.
undoubtedly, as a syndicated talk show host, we've talked on air about it, the mood of the country is accelerating towards total awakening.
Yes, it is, and they know this. The establishment knows this, and at this point, it's unstoppable. We are not going to get tired. We are not going to forget about it. We are not going to resign ourselves to how it is. We're gonna go forward until we get our way. We are the people.
You know, I'm kind of like a alley cat running around yowling at night when I'm on the radio. Isn't it nice to hear that smooth, happy, reassuring voice of John B. Wells? We'll just have you host the show the next 3 hours.
Okay, I'll give it over to you, but I got your back, okay?
You're awesome. Well, listen, I want to talk to you some more over the next 2.5 hours with David Knight riding shotgun with us back in Dallas. And listen, we got to go out and get that steak sometime.
Let's do it. It's on me.
Oh, no, it's not.
You get the beer, I'll get the meat. All right?
Oh, beer and red meat. That sounds really terrible.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, folks, we're going to break. David Knight's there at the command center in Austin, Texas. I'm here at the Below Gardens, and we're going to start marching in about 15, 20 minutes down towards the barricades to point out all the censorship and the fact that they're trying to have this controlled stage to put out their lie, but it is failing. We'll be right back from Dallas, Texas, the 50th anniversary of the shadow government coup d'etat. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight here in Austin. Alex Jones and crew are in Dallas. This is the 50th anniversary of the JFK assassination, and he's gathered there in Below Gardens. That's where they've pushed out all the thought criminals. You know, anybody who's thinking is a criminal now. Of course, the CIA likes to use the term conspiracy theorist. That's a term they weaponize, and just calling somebody a conspiracy theorist is supposed to shame us into silence, but it doesn't. They're speaking out. They've actually got a giant megaphone there at the park. And Alex was just talking to John B. Wells, and he's got some other people there that he's talking to about the assassination. Alex, back to you.
Sure. I think that's some Below art project. Sorry I wasn't clear earlier. It's got like school kids recordings playing on it, but it's just funny that we chose this place to meet not knowing there'd be a giant megaphone. It's very appropriate, very fitting, apropos, and many other terms they could use to describe it, but we're here, and John B. Wells is out here, and I want in this short segment and part of the next segment to talk to folks that are here on the ground to get their view on what's happening, and then we're going to begin in about 20 minutes marching down just to show folks that we're awake. If you're listening in Dallas, Texas, and you're within 10, 15 minutes away, you're listening on 104.1 to us right now. That's a micro people's station on an open frequency we're doing for 2 or 3 days to counter this Tiananmen Square level blocking off of large areas of the city, only letting people in that agree with the official story, only letting corporate establishment media, dying media, run things. If you're against all that and you're listening, you need to come down to Below Gardens. And again, what's this? This is the corner of?
Commercial and
Main and Griffith. Main and Griffith. Main and Griffith. Across from the Federal Building. Come down here, folks. You got 15, 20 minutes. Because everywhere I was walking this morning in the hotel and on the street, people were saying to me, hey, where are you going to be? Where's that march? Well, there's a map on Infowars.com. And I got a foggy map in my brain. But the point is, that's what's happening. That's what's going on. We've only got a few minutes left in this short segment, long segment coming up. But I'm going to start talking to folks. Thomas Moore is a chaplain. And he's a thought criminal. He doesn't believe in known lying criminal government. That means he's very evil. He doesn't love Big Brother. He doesn't love Stalin. He doesn't love Hitler. He doesn't love Mao. He doesn't love Fidel. He thinks they're all bad. He's not allowed to think that. Having an opinion about things is a conspiracy theory. Anyone in government is good. Romans 13, Hitler's favorite verse, do what you're told. But you're actually going to read some of what President Kennedy said, some famous things.
First, I have a prayer of invocation from Kennedy's inaugural. Will everyone please uncover? This is from the Kennedy inaugural. Almighty God, give us the grace to perform with full personal responsibility our duties as courage to perform in full cooperation our duties as American citizen, to perform with complete vigilance our duties to teach, implement, and create true freedom as a way of life at home and abroad. For true freedom underlies human dignity and is a holy state of life. We thank thee for our country, for the manner in which thou led our fathers to establish this nation in which all men have equal rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Help us to unite. Help us to so unite duties and rights, that there may develop in our people a new maturity that will continually produce a life more abundant, liberty more responsible, and spiritual satisfactions more abiding. Amen. Here is a brief quote from JFK in that inaugural. Now the trumpet summons us again, not as a call to bear arms, though arms we need, not as a call to battle, though embattled we are, but a call to bear the burden of a long twilight struggle, year in and year out, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation. A struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself. In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the right of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all those who serve in it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. John Fitzgerald Kennedy Inaugural, 20 January 1961. Thank you very much, Alex.
You bet. How long do we have till break, guys? I probably should have worn a watch today. All right, we're going to go out in 30 seconds. We're going to come right back, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this break that's coming up. And then I'm going to real quick give each person 30 seconds a minute so we can get to a bunch of people that are here. But I thought those quotes were pretty powerful. I was aware of those quotes. Kennedy wasn't perfect, but he loved basic human freedom, and he wouldn't sell America out to the New World Order, so they blew his head off. And we're not going to let his murderers get away with it. We're here in Dallas 50 years later. Infowars.com. Follow us on Twitter at Real Alex Jones. We're taking America back.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight. I'm here in Austin, and Alex is in Dallas. Now, we once had a president who said the very word secrecy is repugnant to a free and open society. That president was killed 50 years ago today. And Alex is there with a bunch of people who are living in a society that is no longer free and open. It is now a police state society with the NSA spying on everybody, with the police spying on everybody, recording us everywhere in public, wanting to track our every movement by car. What do you think JFK would say about our society today, Alex?
Well, undoubtedly, he would be completely horrified. And when they came to him and wanted to stage terror attacks in America under Operation Northwoods, declassified, PBS News covers it, you name it, ABC News has covered it. When they came to him and wanted to stage terror attacks, that's when he really figured out, whoa, the government's bad. I got to clean it up. We got to do something. And it wasn't like he was an angel. He just wasn't evil. Neither was his brother, so they killed both of them. I wanted to get Anthony Gucciardi's take on things because I'm talking to an ABC reporter, speaking of the devil, and then get his take on what's happening here today. But I want to salute all of you out here in the rain and the cold who are fighting for all our free speech and for the truth. Yeah! Yeah! And again, folks can see the feeds. Folks can see the feeds up on Infowars.com/show. Free to everybody there. There's already some demonstrating going. We're going to be marching in about 15 minutes, but I want to talk to some of the crowd here first. Anthony Gucciardi, Infowars.com reporter, StoryLeak.com is your site.
Yeah, exactly. So what happened was we were standing around listening on the live broadcast to over 160 AM and FM stations, and someone had tapped me on the shoulder saying, hey, there's an ABC reporter going around asking people a lot of weird questions. So I was trying to find her. I went over, and then she was already asking someone, oh, do you homeschool your children? Oh, why do you do that? Predominantly homeschool, trying to make everyone sound insane.
And the woman was really laughing and like acting demonic. It was like animated in her hatred of us.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And then I started talking to her, and she said, so who's this guy? Is he some local guy? And I said, no, it's Alex Jones. He's on 160 AM and FM station. She goes, so Dallas then. I mean, it was, it's as if they don't understand.
But again, no, they do know. They call themselves reporters because they can go find whoever they want to make up a story off of BS. Like if they, see, it's like it's journalism inverted. They claim, oh, we don't have opinions, but then they just go around cobbling BS together. Go ahead.
Of course, because they think they're part of the elite, when in reality their website traffic ratings are like millions of times lower than even Infowars. And, Infowars is just dominating them all. And they're afraid of us. That's why they're blocking off all of these streets, because they know if we go in, we'll completely take over it. Just like yesterday and the day before, what was all the news about? The news was about how we were walking in with massive crowds of hundreds of people taking over the entire event. They can't stand that. We went up to the actual media, too, and we talked to the reporters, and we said, do you believe the official story? Can you believe this attack on the First Amendment? And they would always say, yes, it's actually a fairy tale. Yes, it's insane, as A Global Wire person told me, we can't even believe this is going on. This is truly insane. The First Amendment doesn't even exist.
You ran into at the restaurant the head guy of a major network, the head guy over production, and he was like, "Oh, this is pure crap."
Yeah, he was baffled. He was baffled what was going on. He said basically his whole crew, he was running a team of, I think, 45 people. They were just sitting around drinking. They had they couldn't fathom how anyone could toe the official story and believe it. They were just blown away. They're here just to get the job done. They're here. They've been told, as the major wire person told me, to go out, find the quote-unquote conspiracy theorist and, slime them, smear them, make them look bad. But then we're rolling in with crowds of hundreds of people, bullhorning them, and they're like, oh, my God, this is actually the story. That's bigger. This is now the #1 story of the whole thing.
That's right, but they really want to have this worldwide, the propaganda they put out at the little memorial that starts in about 30 minutes. We're about to march down there. Leanne McAdoo, give us your take on what you think's happening.
I just think it's a very powerful moment. I feel like even when I woke up this morning, like the spirit of JFK, I mean, obviously the ceremony is going to be beautiful and remembering what a great person he was, but this is what it's all about right here. We are fighting for liberty. We are taking our country back. We're going to storm down to Dealey Plaza and let them know that we're not going to buy their lies. And it's true. We are the story. We are bringing it to them, to Dealey Plaza.
That's right. If we would have not shown up, if you would have not shown up, if we wouldn't have done this, they could just put out their story and say everyone agrees but one homeless guy that JFK was killed by a lone gunman. And everyone knows Obamacare gave you free health care, and it worked perfectly for everyone. And everyone knows the government never lies. And so everything's going to be just fine. But no, the people know the truth. We're not buying the fraud anymore. Sir, you showed me an ad in the paper that was interesting. Tell us who you are and what you wanted to tell folks.
My name is Rich Sheridan. I've lived in Dallas for 30 years. I've run for political office, and I understand the politics of Dallas, Texas. Today, in the Observer, a weekly publication.
Turn it this way if you want to see it. Go ahead.
Weekly publication about LBJ wanting for the murder of Kennedy. In today's Dallas Observer, it's free in newsstands all downtown Dallas. I was published, by the way, on Wednesday by the Dallas Morning News, called an extremist. Let's hear it for the extremists. Who are the extremists? The lying politicians, the media, or the extreme truth that we're giving out there to counter their lies? And if I could just may say this. Assassinated, John F. Kennedy, assassinated in Dallas, Texas on November 22nd, 1963, by a cabal of fascist, racist, military, industrial, oil complex warmongers. JFK's assassination began the death of democracy in our nation. Let's come together on the occasion of JFK's 50th memorial, share our truth, expose all the conspirators, and be part of the rebirth of democracy and part of our nation's and world's new Peace Corps. Let me quote a former mayor about the cabal that runs this city. Former controversial mayor Laura Miller, who had her own battles with this cabal as mayor, wrote this in the Dallas Observer about today's political offspring of the cabal that also controlled Dallas at the time of JFK's assassination. Quote, the Dallas Citizens Council that resides in the tallest building in Dallas on the 62nd floor. An elite cadre of wealthy goons, greedy and egotistical, who have taken advantage of the city through tax breaks and public land deals, and it was started by a former mayor, R.L. Thornton, and KKK member in 1937.
Very interesting. Thank you very much. All right, again, we salute you all for being out here. Sir, I talked to you last night. Come be on the radio with us. How you doing? Doing great, thanks. Tell us where you came from, what you're doing here.
I came here from Florida to be here, part of this, thanks to you, and to stand up for the freedoms that we're losing in this country every second, really, it seems like. And I couldn't have done it without you, and I appreciate everything you do.
No, don't thank me.
I want to be thanked, but I have to thank you because, for me personally, just because for waking me up to some of the things that I've was asleep to, and the health things and a lot of the other issues, like I take the Tangy Tangerine, I'm on the Nationite, and just all those factors that I didn't really know about has really helped me a lot. And I really appreciate everything you guys and your crew has done, and I'm just glad to be here with everybody, and it's been a wonderful experience so far.
What do you make of their attempts to try to block out free speech in this town? I mean, it really shows that if they could, just like people that run this government, all the countries they take over, they put dictators in, they put oppressive systems in, so if they can do it here, they will, and they are. The bad guys run the country. I mean, it's a fact that every major dictator, when the United States government has a choice, they put dictators in. They oppress and steal because it's not the government. because we the people have let total criminals take over. And it's never been perfect. It's been bad throughout history. All governments end up being bad. It's just that now they say, no, governments are never bad, so we can't even have a debate about fixing it. See how fundamental that is? Jim Mars is here. We're going to talk to him in a second. What do you think about that?
Well, it's you're accurate that they will do that, and they have done that. I was down there at the gate handing out flyers early this morning, and I got accosted by a couple of those guards or whatever you want to call them, asking me what I was handing out and why, and question.
Wait, this is key. This is key testimony. I want to shoot this in high def because this happened to our reporters when they didn't have cameras on. As soon as we turn cameras on, they back off. The police threatened to arrest us on tape or give us tickets, but as soon as more cameras got there, they back off. They know it's illegal, unconstitutional, but they're afraid of us in a group, and they're afraid of cameras. But when they've got you individually, describe, sir, what happened to you, where you were, and what they did, because this is how they want to turn America into a giant non-free speech zone, an anti-free speech zone, a constitution-free zone. Tell us exactly what happened.
Well, I was handing out flyers down by the Main Street gate, I guess, where they're letting the press people in. And as I was doing that, I was talking to people and explaining to them, don't believe the official story. One of the guys, it looked like, and he had a red suit on. He came over to me and asked me, what are you handing out? And I gave it to him, and he said, you can't do that. I said, why? I said, because you're not allowed to. And then I said, well, I'm going to keep doing this. And then he went over and I saw him talk to a police officer who both looked at me. And I'm a felon from when I was 18 years old. And so I was thinking to myself, well, maybe they're going to try to lie or do something on me. You know what I mean? You can't trust them. So I kind of just backed off a little bit, just walked away and watched them and started handing out my papers some more. And the guy told me that I had to leave. The guy with the red shirt told me I had to leave because I was filming where they said no bullhorns, you know, what you're allowed to bring in the event.
But you weren't in it. And again, this is the key to all this in America, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it's become, where there's outside of law, they're saying in America you can't talk to people and you can't hand out any paperwork. I mean, that is simply amazing. And I know we've got some bad audio right now. Network, can you hear me? Oh, yeah, just boost it because I noticed sound levels went way down. Thank you so much, sir, for standing up for freedom. Let's give a round of applause and a hooray for the thought criminal. I mean, this is so extreme. Jim Mars is here with us, and sir, I've never been around such evil. Americans gathering in a square to remember a president murdered in a conspiracy, talking about freedom, handing out sheets, pointing out there's a violation of free speech, and then they come over and try to intimidate people and tell them they can't do that. I think that man should be arrested and probably executed. I mean, in fact, I'm bad. I want to apologize. In fact, maybe I should cut my tongue out. I mean, this is so un-American what we're doing. You, for 45, 50 years, as a former Star Telegram reporter, really since it happened, you even met Jack Ruby, knew him. How dare you report on this? How dare you question? You are an extremist. You're an enemy of Mao Zedong and Hitler. You do what government says. Do you want to apologize?
Exactly. You know what really gets me is that James Tague, who was the third man wounded in Dealey Plaza, they won't let him in. Bill and Gail.
Good. He should be sent to prison.
Bill and Gail Newman, the closest people to Kenny when he was shot, and who within an hour of the assassination were on television saying the shots came from up behind them on the grassy knoll. They won't let them in.
Arrest them. They're evil too.
I know. Gee, this is the thought police, you know.
Well, no, once they don't let you gather, then they do come and arrest you at your house. That's the next step, folks. They want authoritarianism here.
But let me tell you this. You're going to love this. I just came from inside Dealey Plaza. I just wandered on in. And got all the way down in there, and finally some minion said, "Hey, you don't have an armband." I said, "Oh, well, I must have forgot mine."
You got to have a Nazi armband to get in.
That's right. That's right. And so finally they ushered me out, even though months ago I contacted some of the organizers and said, "Hey, I've written about this for 50 years, and I've I wrote the book that Oliver Stone's movie was based on." I said, "Can I get a ticket to get in?" And they said, "No."
No, only I talk to people that go in. They have to agree that they agree with the official story.
Right, exactly. Now, this is 1984 Orwellian thought police.
No, that's a conspiracy. Nothing bad's happening. Hey, Obamacare is free, and it works great.
Hey, well, didn't he say if you like your kids, you can keep your kids?
Oh, my gosh. What's the time there, folks? Okay, we got about 4 minutes. We got a break. What do you make, though, Jim Mars here with us? Again, one of the top people in the country, obviously the most well-known other than Oliver Stone. And, of course, you worked on that film with Robert Groden and others who's here. Groden's had to sue him to even be able to be down there on foot during the year now. So this is real draconian issues. And when we talk to the dying corporate prostitute media, they will literally laugh at us. Or they won't laugh at us when we talk about the First Amendment. They agree and go, listen, I had a major newspaper person today in the lobby. And they said, listen, I'm here. I'm writing a piece. I'm really into what you're doing. We know the truth, but, I got to write this piece.
You want to know how scary this whole thing is? Some years ago, I had a senior newspaper editor from the Dallas-Fort Worth area who sidled up to me after I had made some talks on the conspiracy to kill Kennedy, and he says, I know you're right. He said, but we can't write about this. He said, it could cost me my life. Now, I don't for a minute believe, I'm not so paranoid to think that they're going to come down and kill some editor because of something they published in the paper, but the point is, this fella did. He was truly fearful for his life.
Well, that's because they know how many people got killed. Who do you think contacts the Dallas Morning News? Help, they're coming after me. They just got to go, sorry, can't help you. They're here killing me. And they find the dead body. They just got to cover it up. They know.
Exactly.
I mean, a big paper knows more than the police do in a lot of cases. And they just keep it all quiet, give the police a call. All right, this person knows. Send over a black op team.
Well, and I also recall that it happened to me personally and to other newspaper reporters that I know. Their editors would say, hey, it's not our job to investigate the Kennedy assassination. And, of course, I wanted to scream at them and say, well, then whose job is it?
Oh, tell the story about who was owning the paper or whatever and at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. You've told that story, and then you weren't allowed to report on something. I forget the details.
Oh, well, there were several. First off, a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people, especially in Fort Worth, know who Amon Carter Jr. was. He's the one that took over and was owner of the Star-Telegram. Up to within 2 weeks of the assassination, he had a day nurse that was taking care of his children. Her name was Marguerite Oswald. Okay, and a lot of y'all remember Tommy Vandegrift. Okay, and then went on to be a congressman, mayor of Arlington forever, ever had Vandegrift Chevrolet. Marguerite Oswald, worked for Tommy Vandegrift. This is how well connected the Oswalds were, but you never get told this stuff.
No, they're living with the White Russians, allowed to go to Russia and come back, CIA clearance, spy plane bases, but nothing's going on.
Nothing's going on, although his wife, Marina, told me that when they came back from Russia, they made a 3-day stopover in Amsterdam, something that has not been reported by the government story. And I said, well, what was going on there? She said, well, we stayed at a private home where everybody spoke English. And
CIA safe house. Exactly. I can't tell this story. I can't tell this story because of patient privilege. But, my dad was a dentist here, and the craziest thing is he never even told me. He goes, oh, yeah, I had a certain patient who was that certain person, but I can't say any more than that. Pretty wild. Very small world.
Very small world, and there's a whole lot of connections in on the assassination, which is why I think you're seeing this debauchery towards the Constitution in Dallas today. There are still people in Dallas who have something to hide.
That's right, and they can't prop it up anymore. And they think if we have the whole world media out, and we only put out the official story and give the media a 3-week, 2-week, whatever it was, run-up of pure demonizing anyone that questions it, then they can cement it back together. But that's the story of Humpty Dumpty.
That's right. I think up until this year, they weren't too concerned because they control the Dallas News. They control the Star-Telegram. They control the major newspapers. I know. I work for them. Okay, but this year, on the 50th anniversary, they knew there would be news people coming from all around the world, so they had to take extraordinary steps to shut everybody up.
Jim Mars is here with us. Yeah, folks. Yeah, we're going to be right back from the 50th here in Dallas on the 50th anniversary of the Black Op assassination of John F. Kennedy. The First Amendment is alive and well. Liberty is rising. We'll be back. The march starts when we come back in 3 minutes. The free speech march against the would-be tyrants. Straight ahead, I'm Alex Jones. Yeah!
50 years. Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight here live in Austin. And in Dallas, live is Alex Jones. Now, he was just talking to Jim Mars, and Jim Mars is telling us that he got thrown out of Dealey Plaza because he didn't have an armband on. Alex, do those armbands have swastikas on them?
No, they don't, but they might as well have an all-seeing eye of the New World Order. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to march for the First Amendment. down Main Street. It's right over here to the right, and I want to get John B. Wells and Jim Mars, everybody up here up front with me. I know you guys don't want to be up front, but hell, I want to be able to pass the microphone to you off and on and get your comments on what you're seeing and what's happening. But I tell you, it is exciting. I would rather be here with a crowd of First Amendment supporters than up there sitting on those bleachers with all the wannabe establishment people who are up there spewing their garbage. And I know when you talk to your audience of 16 million people, you're going to be talking about what happened here. In a nutshell, John B. Wells, what are you going to say?
Those people sitting on those bleachers up there, it's nothing personal, but there's this thing called a Judas goat. That's the animal that leads the sheep into slaughter. You should be ashamed of yourselves towing the party line. You're supposed to be journalists. You're supposed to be interested in the truth. You're supposed to be interested in the welfare of the people. So walk the walk. We've heard enough of your talking the talk.
Absolutely. And so many of these media people behind the scenes, they either laugh at us, but the majority of them go, no, I know what you're saying is true. I mean, major wire reporters, local newspaper person from the Dallas Morning News, you name it, tell me, oh, we know the truth, but we're not allowed to. My God, that's total evidence when there's an agenda of you will go out and you will make fun of these people. That's the proof that they would have an authoritarian regime if they could. Look at what they're doing with Obama right now on every issue, just using executive orders outside of Congress.
There's this little gal named Amber Lyon. I had her on Coast to Coast AM one night. She is doing a special assignment in a not-to-be-disclosed location and a not-to-be-disclosed subject. And she is the one who came forward and said that while at CNN, they were paid to report some stories, they were paid not to report some stories. And that pretty much says it all. And guess what? CNN is moving away from news. So that's it, folks. If you get tired of something and you're sick of it, quit buying it, and it'll go away.
That's right. Whereas your show's rising and the whole Coast to Coast family with George Norton, everybody just doing a great job because you'll talk about real issues. You'll talk about just all sorts of things. People want to hear more variety.
Yes, they do. They do. And of course, the label. This is a country of labels. And the label is, conspiracy middle of the night radio. It's harmless. It's not harmless. It's getting exactly the right people's attention.
I can't tell you how many amazing people I've met because of Coast to Coast AM and what George Norrie's done and what you've done and Tom Danheiser and the whole team there. It's and the direction George and you and others have taken it more towards a hardcore political research angle with still some of the fun stuff. It's just so amazing. A very interesting artist, I'll just leave it at that, last night came down, who's a big listener for 5 years, and she learned about what I do from coasttocoastam.com. And it was just amazing how many people end up finding my show over the years and Infowars.com and everything through you guys. And now I try to repay the favor for folks to find out about what you're doing Saturday nights. John B. Wells is here with us. And again, you folks are my heroes. You are. Please don't tell me I'm doing a great job. You're doing an amazing job. We're going to start marching, David Knight. You take us out to break. When we come back in the next segment, you can come back to me. But let's start marching for the First Amendment. This is it. I salute you. And we are not going to let them silence all of us. David Knight, what do you think of what John B. Wells said?
It's pretty amazing, Alex. You know, I'm looking at some of these quotes. That quote we mentioned earlier that Kennedy said the word secrecy is repugnant to a free and open society. In that same speech, he said there's a very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized on by those anxious to impose official censorship and concealment. That's exactly what's happening. He said it wouldn't happen on his watch, but he's no longer with us. And now that's exactly what you're seeing there in Dallas, and we're seeing it in spades throughout the United States. We see official censorship and concealment, the very things that are repugnant and abhorrent to a free society. We'll be right back with Alex live in Dallas.
Good.
Government cover-ups, and we've got one going on right now in Dallas. We've got the official ceremony that is commemorating the 50th anniversary of the assassination of JFK. That's taking place.
Ahead.
But it's
Don't
being...
go too fast, everybody. Slow down.
We've got Alex Jones live in Dallas. Go ahead, Alex. Tell us what's going on there. It's exciting.
Well, I mean, this crowd is rushing forward. I'm trying to get to the head of it. And we got folks chanting out here. I'm going to bullhorn a little bit. Everybody. All right, folks, hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute, brother. Hold on just a minute. Let's just stop up here for just a minute because I want to just say a few things to all of you here. I've thought about this really deeply, and I know how the mainstream media, corporate whores work. It is key. Let me get to the head of the crowd, and I'll turn around, folks. Everybody stop. I'm going to turn around right here. Great job. Okay, let me just address everybody real quick here. because this is important, some strategy planning, and for everybody listening on the radio as well. If you're listening to us in Dallas, you need to get down here to where Main runs into Dealey Plaza. They've got it blocked a few blocks off here. We're almost up to the barricades now. Now, they want to block us off because they think we're going to bullhorn over the memorial service where they have politicians get up there and spew the official story in between the news inserting their propaganda. They claim they're not being political, but then all the state-run media puts out the official story during the breaks. So let me play it by ear. If they try to censor us or anything, we'll start bullhorning them, but we're too far away to be heard anyways. They'll just claim that we tried to mess up the memorial service. So let's play it by ear. Let me think about it. You can do whatever you think you need to do, but once I get up there, I'll play it by ear. We may not want to bullhorn once we get up there because, again, the media will try to spin it that we interrupted the event. Regardless, at 2:30, they're supposed to let the alternative media and the real American people in, so that should be interesting. I appreciate you being out here in the cold, but let's walk real slow now and take our time marching up on the police barricades because I'm going to break here in a couple minutes. I want to be live on the air when we reach the police, so we have that protection to being live on the radio and covering all this. So we're out here. You're doing a great job. I salute you all. Let me ask you a question, David Knight, on air. I mean, don't you think it's smart to not bullhorn once we get down there because they'll try to spin that?
Oh, absolutely. They'll totally demonize you if you do that. Everybody in the mainstream media, that's all they will show. That's the only thing they'll talk about if you bullhorn the event, if you bullhorn the moment of silence.
And it may not be a bad idea. May not be a bad idea to do it, but here's the deal. I've said on record we're not doing it, and the police are listening right now. I know they are. If they mess with us, the First Amendment comes first, just like the Second. I'm going to have to roll over the top of them. And if they mess with us, I'm going to go over the barricades. Now, if they don't act like thugs, we'll just stop at the barricades and probably won't even bullhorn. But that's just the way it is. And so, we're here to promote the First Amendment, and all the tyranny and the corrupt mayor can go straight to hell.
That's right.
Anybody that stands with us is a freedom of liberty, whether they be police, general citizens, it doesn't matter. We're here. This is not communist China. And the people trying to censor us can go straight to Hades or straight to North Korea and suck on the toes of Kim Jong-un. All right, brother, when are we going to break here?
We've got about a minute.
Okay, all right. Well, we will cross this barricade coming up at the beginning of the next segment. Let's start going now. Let's start going now. We are moving forward, and they're moving more police in right now. And then we're going to go to this break. We're going to slow walk. Let's slow walk it so that we have plenty of time. We're going to go to a break in a moment and then come back. This is real, unscripted, hardcore truth journalism in their face. True history happening. And we are going to resist this tyranny by coming and literally raining on their parade. And the good Lord above is certainly freezing all the blue bloods' butts up there that are sitting on those bleachers right now. We the people are out here staying hungry, marching around in the cold, and it is awesome. And my crew has never done a better job than they're doing right now. As we go out to break, here's for the Infowars crew. Yeah! Yeah! Infowars! 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 Infowars!
And now, live from Austin, Texas,
bring in the feed, guys.
Alex Jones.
Go to the feed.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight in Austin, and Alex is live at the barricades in Dallas, the official censorship and concealment barricades. Alex?
That's right, David Knight, and I'm going to start bullhorning. Live coverage starts now. Here we go. We are not going to put up with the lies of the globalists anymore. We are not going to let this country become communist China. We are not going to see our free speech violated. We are not going to let the globalists have the international media here and attack anyone that does not believe the official story. And that is why we are here in defense of the First Amendment. No more lies. 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 Yeah, over here. No more lies. No more lies. Stay with me, Wes. The cops are right here. Sure. Sure. No more. Let me get over here. Sure. Over here. No more lies. No more lies. I've got the police here with me trying to pull me off to the side. We're going to see what happens. Stay on me, dude. Okay, right over here. The cops want to talk to me. Here we go. This detective right here. What's your name?
Sergeant Hall.
Hey, how you doing, buddy? Good. What do you want to talk about real quick? Let's not block the street. I just didn't want to block the street. Police were trying to pull me off there. No more lies! No more lies! No more lies! No more lies! No more lies!
I'm Sergeant Hall with the Dallas Police Department. What are your plans for today?
We're just going to walk right up here to the barricade.
You're going to walk right up to the barricade. Okay. You're welcome to walk right up to the barricades. However, this is a ticketed event, okay? So you can't get past the barricades, okay? Now, you cannot have the bullhorns while you're in this area over here. We did designate an area for you to use the bullhorn, which is back over here at Main and Market here.
Can anybody hear us over there, though?
Yes, people can hear you over there.
Free speech zone?
Yes, free speech zone. It's a free speech zone, okay?
What, is North Korea a free speech zone? Well, you seem real nice. Let me just do this. I'll bullhorn about 3 minutes, and then I'll go back over there. Sound good? Okay, here we go. All right. No more lies. 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 No more lies.
Are you going to bullhorn right here?
No, I'm walking over there.
Walking over where?
Hold on. I barely hear you because everybody yelling.
Okay.
We'll need for you to move over there, sir.
I know. Why? Because the mayor doesn't want anybody to hear the voice of the people.
The free speech zone's over there. This is a
We don't respect free speech
permitted
zones,
area over here, sir.
I thought the permanent area is past the whole country. It's over there where you have this people getting searched.
No, sir. Actually, the permit starts right here.
But quite frankly, the mayor had said we couldn't hand out flyers anywhere in the city.
Well, I don't know about that, sir. But if you're going to use the bullhorn, we'll have to ask y'all to move over there to the other side, sir.
Okay. Well, if I don't stop, what is he going to arrest me?
Subject to.
You're subject to being arrested, okay? All right.
Well, I know that, but I mean, my whole issue is in Tiananmen Square, people got arrested, and they got what would happen if I got arrested? I'd be taken to loose Derrick?
You'll be taken into custody, yes.
As a thought criminal. What's your name, sir?
I'm Sergeant Hall, okay?
Do you believe in the First Amendment?
Yes, I believe in the First Amendment. Yes, I believe in the First
Amendment. Do you believe the official story of Kennedy?
Mr. Jones.
I'm not even on a bullhorn now.
I'm not going to debate the First Amendments with you, okay? I'm here to explain to you that you're at a ticketed event. You have a right to come and enter inside the zone of the event, but you cannot go past the barricades. You cannot use the bullhorn when you're in this desk.
I got it. I'm just deciding what I want to do. Hold on 1 second. All right, I think I'm going to go in there and not use the bullhorn. Let's all march in there, but not use the bullhorn, which I already said I don't want to do because the media will say we're interrupting it. Then let's all march through. No, hold on. I got to use this. Tell them. Let's all march through, but don't use our bullhorns because they will say we're interrupting it and it'll make us look bad. Let's march through up to the barricade, the actual inner one, then we'll come back to the Soviet zone, free speech zone, or you guys can do whatever you want. That's what I'm going to do because I don't want to go to jail today. We've already come and shown that the mayor is trying to violate the First Amendment. So we've already come here and taken back most of the First Amendment. So I'm going to march up to the internal barricade and the checkpoints, and then I'm going to march back out over and we'll bullhorn them. I'm so loud. Believe me, they're going to come over and try to get us to move again. So let's just go. Let's do it right now. Here we go, folks. Follow me.
There's already several hundred people up there at the barricade, sir. That's been here all morning to be close by.
Oh, good. Great, great. What does that mean?
That they're there. I mean,
good.
I don't see how you're going to make it to the barricade, but...
Okay. Come on, listen. I'll work with you guys, but let's not do the police. I'll work with you guys, but let's not work with the tactic to get me to agree to something and then whittling it down and down and down.
No, sir. Like I said, there's already several hundred people over there.
Listen, this country's getting ready to collapse. You believe me, you want to be on the right side of history. All right, come on, let's go do it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's a cute dog. Anyways, we're broad. Hey, how you doing, sir? You bet. Good to see you. You bet. Absolutely. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. We're going to talk to some news media here for a moment. You guys can carry this live if you want, but I'm going to take my headphones off here real quick. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. Tell me how you're doing today.
I'm doing great. It's great to be out here.
Tell me about this moment.
Well, we're here because the mayor said last year in the newspaper, and then he said it again. Let me start over. We're here because the mayor said last year, and then he said again just last week, that we couldn't hand out flyers within 75 feet of a street or a road. We had police tell us even down here we couldn't hand out flyers a few days ago. We had our reporters threatened who were just getting up near the barricades before they extended them out. And we saw bureaucrats trying to tell the police to arrest us yesterday. The police said, no, I'm not going to violate the First Amendment yesterday. And then I said, but the mayor says you're supposed to, and a senior cop said, I'm not going to do that. So we're here to force them to admit that there's been attempted violations of the First Amendment. I liken this in a small way to the great work of people like Martin Luther King, who got arrested over 100 times going into lunchrooms and places to be able to basically eat and be treated like a human being and be able to use bathrooms and water fountains. It's the same thing. Can we hand out flyers in Dallas? Can we have signs in Dallas? Can we march in Dallas? That's what this comes down to, and that's why we're here, letting them know there's still free speech in America.
Where are you headed now, Adam?
I am headed down to the internal barricade. They say they're going to arrest me if I use the bullhorn. So I don't want to get arrested, and I don't want to interfere with the event they're having. But they've set this event up where only the establishment view, and the view held by about 10 to 15% of Americans that Oswald acted alone, they've set it up where only they can have their views, and the media is running promos in between promoting the official story. So this is a giant attempt by some of the old-timers in Dallas who know the world knows what they really did to prop up the collapsing Humpty Dumpty story that one guy did this when he was really drinking a Coca-Cola in the lunchroom. And so the lie has collapsed. We're here to retake the First Amendment. God bless you, sir. Thank you very much for talking to us.
The fact that only the privileged get to get in there.
Exactly. No, only the insiders get to get in there. David, how's the audio? Everything good?
Everything sounds great, Alex.
I've been arrested many times, man, but I made a day.
That's right.
Hey, brother.
You never know.
Good job. Good job with that bullhorn. But remember, we're getting up there close, so we probably don't want to do it anymore unless you want to get arrested, which you may want to do, but I'm not telling you to do that. To do whatever you have to do, but I'm telling you to follow your heart. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going up towards the barricades, and we're broadcasting on 104.1, and the establishment is basically putting out its propaganda. And they are here with a big image of JFK on a crane hanging up. I guarantee you if JFK was alive right now, he would want the people to know why they blew his head off. Because he was signing an executive order to begin abolishing the Federal Reserve, to end the Vietnam War and more. And the establishment and LBJ didn't want that, so they killed it. What, are they laughing at us? Well, why do they think it's funny? Well, listen, I don't think they're against us. Let's go over and talk to them. Which one? Which one? Well, I don't think he's laughing at us. I think he agrees with the First Amendment. Officer, you agree with the First Amendment, don't you? Because you know body language is 90% of things, and you're smiling at us because you like us, don't you, sir? Anyways, he is a good guy. You know what you kind of, hey, officer, how you doing? Well, anyways, let's leave the police alone and not get into arguments with them. All right, folks, here we go. David Knight, we are getting up to the final barricades, where there are all these citizens here that want to be able to be part of this event but have been held back because they don't go along with the official story. And so here we go, ladies and gentlemen, as we approach up to the front lines of this. I appreciate everybody letting me through. God bless you. Citizen Press here, Infowars.com. And these are all the people that have been kept out of here.
We can see a lot of people that have been kept out. A lot of people kept out there.
See if you can pick up any of this audio. If we turn up the audio, guys, see if you can pick up any of the speech that's being given right now. See if you can carry this audio. Tell me if it's good. If not, go back to me.
That prejudice can lead to openness. Make us instruments of your peace and bearers of divine justice that always tempers instincts and mercy.
And again, nobody used their bullhorns up here. Not just because they threatened to arrest us. The media will turn it against us. Somebody go back and make sure that guy doesn't use that bullhorn. Because I don't want to put it on TV. All right, go ahead and let me through here, man. I'm just going to pop.
Excuse me, man. I got. Excuse me. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Alex, do you know who's speaking there now? The mayor was supposed to speak just before the moment of silence, which is at 12:30, and we're about 10 minutes away.
Let's get a video shot over this and over these police, right through here if you can. There it is. Let's bring Josh in here.
Sorry, guys.
Camera guy. Where's Rob Dude? Rob Dude would be the best to get in here, because you can get a really good shot here. I can give you a live stream right here.
Excuse me, guys. Excuse me.
Hey, hold up.
Excuse me.
I'm going to give you some shots. We're going to take a break. David?
That's probably
talking.
That's probably Bishop Farrell.
Ian, pardon me?
That's probably Bishop Farrell of the Catholic Diocese of Dallas that was speaking. Now I think that's the mayor, isn't it? Yeah, that's the mayor, Rawlings. So this is the guy that set up the censorship. This is the guy that did everything that JFK opposed, he's imposed in Dallas today. The mayor of Dallas, Rawlings. And we'll be right back.
Are you going to break, David?
What looks... Right now, we're coming back, the Alex Jones Show, and Alex is live in Dallas, and we have the mayor of Dallas, Mayor Rawlings, who is actually standing on the grave of JFK, and with his actions, he's doing everything that JFK abhorred. He is censoring the news, he's stifling dissent, and he's withholding from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. Those are the words of JFK, the man who was shot 50 years ago. Now we got a mayor who is doing everything that JFK hated. Alex?
That's right. I wanted you just to hear a minute of this pompous person talking about the Dallas Fathers. And he mentioned people that were around basically when Kennedy was taken out. This is all about Dallas and the good old boys that worked with the CIA to kill Kennedy and then to kill our republic, literally selling their lie and their fraud. So let's give you about a minute of the idiot mayor speaking in this highly choreographed event where they openly tried to stifle free speech, but we defeated them. So let's listen to a minute of this guy. And the moment of silence is coming up. On our streams, we're going to skip our ads at the bottom of the hour for the moment of silence.
Light shone upon it. The city, it was learned, had been inhospitable to honorable debate. End quote. Rabbi Olin captured the heartbreak and hurt the city felt. He stated plainly the defects
you guys getting good video from us and audio
that were laid bare before the entire world. But most important, he called for Dallas to use this tragedy to
All right,
seek
I'm gonna start talking over him.
transformation.
Put me on.
Look around.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is literally a bunch of wannabe movie stars, a bunch of nobody politicians who've never allowed a memorial here and never allowed the conspiracy research community that knows the truth to have events here officially, blocking everyone out and creating a big Hunger Games, as David Knight calls it, propaganda event. It's totally scripted where he pauses and they show the crowd. They brought in all these school kids and were groping them, groping their bodies, TSA style. We saw TSA out here as well to get into this. So you got a bunch of school kids as props living in a country captured by foreign offshore banks as the nation is gutted. But I'm telling you, that disgusting mayor up there on the screen, he has not gotten away with shutting down our free speech. And we are here. And we are absolutely getting the word out about freedom and about what really happened to JFK. And it's just been a great example of the attempt of the state-run media to dominate society. This is a truly live event, on the ground, real journalism. And I want to thank everybody that's come out. I want to thank everybody that stood up for the First Amendment and the great crew. And I want to thank all you, the listeners, most importantly, and God above, but people on this planet. I want to thank the listeners for supporting us, standing by us, putting up with me over the years. My God, I can't listen to myself half the time. And being part of the Infowars.com family and the Infowars.com team. What we're doing together is so incredibly historic. This mayor has absolutely timed it where he speaks with international media watching him right up to the moment of silence. And maybe he'll celebrate the establishment's murder of Kennedy during the moment of silence. I mean, this is just absolutely ridiculous. But the moment of silence is coming up here. 50 years ago, in my hometown, long before I was born, they blew his head off in front of everybody. High noon is a message to the establishment, a message to the world that there had been a coup d'etat by the Federal Reserve, by LBJ, by Texas oil men, by big banks, and that they were going to do whatever they wanted to with America. And they claimed they were killing Kennedy to restore liberty and do all this other stuff. But they really did it to bring in tyranny. And now we see what this has done all of these years later. It is absolutely disgusting. And so that's why we're here reporting the truth, broadcasting the truth during this outrageous propaganda event. We are not standing idly by. David Knight, your comments on this as we get just minutes away from the moment of silence. We're about a minute and a half away. So, David, just talk for about 30 seconds to give us your take.
Well, Alex, the hypocrisy is just amazing and disgusting. When I look at this speech that Kennedy had about the idea that secrecy is a repugnant word, that we don't want to give up our liberties and freedom in order to censor people, in order to provide security. He said that giving that up is much more dangerous than what we're being threatened with. And that's what we see today. And to see this, as you mentioned, the Hunger Games type of little ceremony that they've got going there with Mayor Rawlings and his 25 prominent citizens there in Dallas, it's absolutely disgusting to think that they're standing on the grave of JFK, somebody who absolutely abhorred this kind of censorship. Yes, we'll wait.
Okay.
Peace on earth.
Okay. You know, I don't even think this transmission is live. I just figured that out. So they could control this scene. I think it's delayed about 20 seconds. And then they show a clip. Now I understand what's going on. They show a clip. This is like a practice of controlling propaganda. Then they show a clip, a space, showing quotes and things, and they cut back to him. But I can see him up there still speaking. This is even scripted and fake.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you join me in a moment of silence?
Here's the moment of silence.
In honor of the life of John Fitzgerald Kennedy,
who they murdered and killed.
Me in a moment of silence.
And it's not really a moment of silence, folks. They're bonging the bells and selling their propaganda to the cops up there. They're up in that top window. Oh, there's not a moment of silence. They got the American flag up and a cross. They only invoke that stuff at certain times. Christianity's not good unless they want to use it to make themselves God. Now the moment of silence, see? It's all scripted. America. They're killing America while I'm on air, right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, good. They're killing America while claiming America's mantle. That's what they do. The Patriot Act is unpatriotic. The Affordable Care Act is the opposite of affordable. See how it's all scripted, how they keep flipping back and forth in between? I'm telling you, that's got to be investigated, how this transmission went out. This is bizarre. This is bizarre. No wonder they wanted to keep the media back, the real media. Something really screwy is going on here. So this is amazing. All right, well, David Knight, they've had the moment of silence filled with images of American flags and bonging church bells, and they keep cutting the audio on and off where we're at here. Something is very, very screwy, and there's no other audio coming out of other areas. They're either having major technical malfunctions, or this is at least 20 seconds delayed.
Maybe they got the same guys that built the Obamacare website running the PA system. I don't know.
Well, this is really a disgusting scene as the establishment tries to use the person they murdered to now sell themselves as great people. And there are more police continually arriving and just trying to look imperious and powerful. It is absolutely amazing. And we're here in Dallas. Ladies and gentlemen. They're going to have the Star Spangled Banner or something?
No, now they're going to have a PBS historian of record, David McCullough. He's got a great voice. I don't care much for his history lessons.
So now the history lesson will tell us that Keebler elves killed Kennedy while acting alone.
That's right.
To us in that now distant time past,
Let's carry that.
with a vitality and sense of purpose such as we had never heard before.
So we blew his head off.
Young to be president.
And now we're covering it up.
If you were younger still.
But I'm up here because I can be trusted to feed you bull.
Make it a better world. And so were we.
There's a lot of people here that think they're here part of something special. They don't want me to be talking. You know what? I'm going to talk. And I'm going to expose this crap because I'm sick of it.
Of Americans. It was an exciting time. He talked of all that needed to be done, of so much that matters.
Again, you guys can just mix me in live with all this BS.
Unity of purpose, education.
Education.
The life of the mind and the spirit.
You know,
Art.
here's something that the JFK really said, Alex. You know, he was opposing the Soviet Union. He said there's little value in opposing something like the Soviet Union, the threat of a closed society. That's what he was talking about, the Soviet Union, by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. What do we have today? Everywhere. Arbitrary restrictions.
David, I want you to talk over this historian, David. Talk over the historian and give people real JFK quotes. Start over.
Yeah, he said
him putting words in his mouth.
He said there's little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. What are we seeing here? Can you see the irony of this? By standing on JFK's grave and imposing arbitrary restrictions, by imposing secrecy that JFK said is repugnant?
You're right. You're right. It's a giant, sick joke. I know we've just had some stations rejoin us. We skipped the break, but we're back. It's 12:34. Just a few minutes ago, they had the moment of silence that wasn't really a moment of silence, bonging bells and other stuff. And now we're here, and they've got the PBS historian up there spewing a bunch of feel-good, Kim Jong-il loves you, the state is God, everything's wonderful. And David Knight's really reading quotes by JFK about how we should not oppose tyranny and then become tyranny. And earlier we had a fellow reading, I remember reading that before, it's accurate, his inaugural address when he talked about fighting tyranny and America not becoming a tyranny. Because Eisenhower had warned about that. That's what the globalists were planning. There was an internal struggle within government at that time. And there was a struggle for the heart and soul of America. And Kennedy wasn't perfect, but he wanted his kids to grow up in a free country. And so they killed him because they wanted to be able to run things themselves. And now the establishment is here trying to prop up the lie again. David Knight, you take over and continue for a couple minutes, and then I'll be back with more as it develops.
Well, what people need to look at, they need to look at things like real history, Operation Northwoods, which has now been declassified. That was essentially a blueprint for 9/11. Kennedy shut that down. He understood that there was a grave danger being posed to our society. And here again are his words. He said there's a very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those who are anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it is under my control. Well, he's no longer in control. He is now gone, and they are standing on his grave, imposing the very things. It's no longer a grave danger. It is now a grave reality. We see it everywhere. What would Kennedy have said about the NSA when he says the very word secrecy is repugnant to an open and free society? What would he say about the Snowden revelations? What would he say about a secretive FISA court that meets in secret without any argument, either side? You have one judge, no jury. You have a decision that is issued by the FISA court that is top secret, not allowed to be seen by the society, and yet this secretive society that runs our government now, and that's what FISA is, that's what the CIA, all these organizations are. They've become this secret society that runs our government. They claim that these top secret decisions from the FISA court alter our Constitution, alter our fundamental law. That's the system we have today, Alex. You there? Did you want to come back?
Absolutely. No. I was just talking to the network, telling them, not trying to interrupt you, telling them in a few minutes I'm going to walk out of here and go back to where they told us we could bullhorn in the free speech zone, just because it's pointless sitting here. So you keep talking in a moment, but right now, while we talk, I'm going to walk out of the crowd while you're talking and give people watching on Infowars.com/show and on the Ustream feeds at Infowars.com a shot of what's going on. But Josh, give folks one more shot down there of the controlled event that they're engaged in. And then we're going to go ahead and turn around. This is the closest you can get is down Main Street. We're only about a block and a half away from the beginning of Dealey Plaza. They've got it blocked off as much as 4 or 5 blocks in one area we were at today. But we're going to go ahead and go now out of here with our group that we led into here. We're in here in a big crowd of people crammed in. We're now going to try to go past them. So David, while you do that, you can go ahead and take over while I leave.
All right. Let's pull up for our listeners and people who are viewing this. Let's pull up that picture of this new truck that they're selling at the Millipol in Paris. This is a military police convention, and they know who their audience is. This is what they're calling a BattleNet Inside Network. Look at this. Look at this. It looks like a cross. For those who can't see, it looks like a cross between a Mack truck and a bus that's armored. And you've got this guy all in camouflage in an urban environment climbing into it. Now listen how they describe this. It is the MIDS, the MIDS Tactical Command Post vehicle, being sold to the militarized police complex now. We used to have a military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about, the same people that shot Kennedy. Now we have a military-industrial police complex. These people are looking for new profit centers, and they're bringing the war to our urban streets. That's what this is all about when they sell these kind of vehicles. It's designed for public security missions, protection and coordination for urban events, crisis management, and law enforcement. It even has its own little mini drone that can provide visibility 1 kilometer ahead and collect images in real time to be fed back to this BattleNet Inside Network. Now understand, this is something that is being sold for the police. This is something that's going to be used in our cities, and they call it a BattleNet Inside. Say they're bringing the war home to our shores.
That's right.
Go ahead, Alex, you want to talk?
You're absolutely right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I just heard you talking about BattleNet. That's right. These Homeland Security grids that they're putting in place, they call BattleNets. And I remember over a decade ago reading MIT Magazine. I showed it on air on my local TV show, talked about it on radio. And they said, what we're deploying in Iraq, this was like in 2003, if I remember correctly, right when it started 10 years ago, is a battle net of cameras, sensors, checkpoints, and we're going to use this on the American people, and this is a laboratory.
Yep.
That's how evil the system is they admit that it's literally a battle net with the criminal banks on top, the feds under their control, captured and occupied, and then police under that, literally trained that we are insurgents because we want freedom. So the criminals in government and the criminal interests declare those of us that aren't traitors, that aren't criminals, to be the enemy. Then you've got all fascists that are addicted to government money and don't feel like they have any other life, who then see those of us that want to cut off the blood supply like a cancer, that see somebody wanting to cut it out, they see us as the enemy, even though they bring down every country, even though this syndrome has happened hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times throughout history. This just goes on and on and on and on. And when I cut away from you, leaving in the crowd, there was some trendy authoritarian that ran over and got in our face and thought we were live and was cussing and screaming, basically trying to provocateur that we'd done something wrong. And this is the type of stuff they do. But I believe they said right over there is the so-called free speech.
A free speech zone?
And I actually asked them that as, yeah, absolutely. We're going to show the free speech zone kind of as a joke. I know the police are listening on 104.1 up there. So if those guys would send one of their minions out here, because you're minions too, you're minions under this system, and your children have no future, the cancer viruses and their vaccines, you're being killed by eugenics, they write books on how they're doing it to you, and then you're up there laughing. Well, that's why your kid can't talk. That's why so many of you that work for the system have your wife's dying young, you're going to die young, and you will go to your grave worshiping the government. I understand that. So take all the cancer viruses. Anyways, saw some cops laughing, listening to 104.1.
I mean, do they understand?
What have you noticed? What have you seen while you've been out there?
Well, it seems like every event we go to, there are police up in the window, up in that major red building right next to the stage. There are about 20, 30 police officers in every single window, all staring at you, pointing at you, taking out their cell phones, walkie-talkies, filming the whole thing. I took out my...
Even though I'm well known for always doing exactly what I say I'm going to do, and told them exactly what I was going to do. But see, they lie so much in the culture the higher you go up that that's just impossible that anybody can be truthful.
Not to mention, I mean, you could have went down there with a bullhorn. It would be legal under the Constitution. But we were nice to the police because they were being somewhat reasonable, even though the guy didn't comment when you asked him if he supported the First Amendment. And they're just acting like we are complete and utter criminals as these literal criminals go up there and spew.
Well, that's it. The higher level you went up, the more they were laughing and showing disdain that we dare scum show up and have a birthright for their children. Apologize. We should be North Korea.
Well, you know, something else interesting happened too. I have an earpiece in to try and hear you sometimes when I hook into the jack so I can, speak live via Skype and stuff. And some of the police officers saw the piece in my ear and they were like literally like bowing down. Like they would give me nods and stuff, like give me a pass and everything. They think I'm high-level CIA or something. And
well, you do look like that.
Yeah, totally. But it just shows they have really no idea what they're doing. I'd be walking around with a sign, and they're so clueless. They'd see the piece of my...
Well, the truth is, we've been running an operation having a bunch of Keystone Cop stuff ourselves. The truth is, no one knows what they're doing. That life is crazy. And the establishment thinks with bioweapons, chem weapons, all these war systems funding al-Qaeda, they're going to keep control of things. They're not. America is imploding. America is falling apart. The whole world sees it. We've lost the moral high ground. And I'm here trying to get it back so that my kids and everybody's kids have a future. And by and large, the police have been pretty good overall. I don't want to bash them. But when you go up to the front, they're bugging their eyes out at you, like they're going to intimidate me not to bullhorn. I almost bullhorned because they did that.
That mayor, though, is a complete tyrant.
Oh, that mayor's a tool bag. Let's talk about that scumbag. You notice how he got it all where he talks right up to the top, so he has the moment of silence?
Exactly, and he also was saying how everything is so great. You should have got the bullhorn out of his part. It was just so degenerate and so disgusting, talking about how we've recovered as a country, now we're better than ever, and honoring JFK. It's all complete bogus. And not to mention that the sound feed just kept cutting out and everything. This is typical government operation right here. The police scurrying everywhere while the whole operation is failing at the root of it, as if...
It's like Obamacare. Exactly. We're just like citizens going, we want free speech. I'm on record at every demonstration telling people, internet website. That's what the British government let me in to do all that, because I told them. I just put out an article saying, here's what I'm going to do in England. Let me in, leave me alone, it'll be fine. You won't look like idiots. They were smart enough to leave us alone. They've been smart enough to do that, too. But I hope they did it for the First Amendment, and not because they realize it would blow up in their face. But see, I win either way. They either do the right thing because they don't want to be slaves, want to live in a free country, or they don't do the right thing, and we get even more attention of the tyranny. You see, that's how that works. By not resisting, we lose. That's why I say resistance is victory. You resist, no people that keep resisting can ever be conquered. And we need to realize that. We're not rolling over. Just a little bit of resistance, and it's over. You don't even have to do that much. Just don't bust your ass for the system anymore. Don't comply. Stop going along with it. That's how we bring them down.
Well, there's one more.
Yeah, good job, folks. Yeah.
When we were in the back there behind the stage where all the peons are supposed to go that aren't allowed to have free speech, I noticed something. When we walked in, all the mainstream media was converging on it. And I would come up to and they would have taking photographs, say, what are you with? ABC. What are you with? NBC. They were coming to us. They were leaving the actual event, the footage of the actual event, to film us. Take pictures of us, because this is where the real actual resistance and information is. Those speeches up there are complete dribble. They're nonsense.
That's right. Now, where did they say this free speech zone is? Because I know the police are listening on 104.1. I know, I'm being sarcastic. I know. They just said we have to go over there to Bullhorn. So it's just abs because they tried to put it over there so it can't make it around the building. It's ridiculous. Anyways, I want to find that one cop. It's my friend. I want him to come on the radio with me. David Knight, we're going across the street here. Do you have anything you'd like to add to what you're hearing here?
Yeah, I'd like to see what a free speech zone looks like. If you put free speech in a zone, if you put a cage around it, if you put pins around free speech, it's not free, is it? It's controlled. If speech is controlled, it is not free.
They always put it in a box like it's dirty.
That's right. And they exclude it away from the event, whether it's a political convention anymore. Whether it's a political convention or whether it's something like this.
I want to look at these people that actually... I want to look at these people. I'm not knocking them that actually went in the free speech zone. I want to be clear. I'm not coming over here to actually do what they said and get in their little free speech zone like we're dirty and we're bad. I'm over here to show how they're trying to put free speech literally in a cage behind a thing saying, here, because you sued thousands of times when they tried to ban free speech, period, after 9/11. You can now go into a box and speak. I mean, this is incredible.
That's like going to a zoo.
The larger issue here,
Alex, that's like going to a zoo and looking at the animals in the cages and saying, look at all the free-range animals. Free speech is not in a cage.
Free-range people here.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing, ladies and gentlemen. And, of course, the police, when I first got here, wanted to drag me off to some corner, like grab the leader. And, of course, the real leader, JFK, they just blew his head off. That worked a lot easier. I made the point, too, that I would be ready to die for free speech. I wasn't predicting I would actually get shot or anything here. And, of course, the Dallas Observer, we've been very nice to, wrote some sniveling attack piece dribble, because even the so-called alternative paper, is so authoritarian leftist that how dare Alex Jones come down here when I'm the real liberal, ladies and gentlemen, like Thomas Jefferson. Absolutely incredible that all of this is going on and happening. But we're continuing to transmit here, and we are continuing to talk to the crowd. And I'm gonna talk to some of the people that are here today. And technically, now I'm going to go ahead and start bullhorning a little bit. You might want to step aside, sir. Here we go. No more lies. 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 Let's say it slow. Let's say it slow. Hold on 1 second. We got to say it real slow. Hold on 1 second. No more lies. 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 No more lies.
For those of you just tuning in, this is Alex Jones live at the JFK assassination commemoration, where they've excluded people and put them in free speech zones.
Stop the cover up. 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 We are awake. We know the truth.
We're live with Alex Jones and Dallas protesting the censorship and the cover-ups going on today, the 50th anniversary of the JFK assassination. And we're going to be back with more live coverage coming up right after the break, so stay tuned. Alex is going to be talking to the people who are there. Listen to this as we go out.
Alex Jones here. And I want to...
All right, we're with Alex Jones live in Dallas protesting the censorship, the official suppression of news. This has been going on for 50 years. It isn't just a commemoration of 50 years after the assassination of Kennedy. They've been suppressing and censoring information about that for 50 years. And to top it off, this year we have the most censorship. Blocks have been, they've moved the people who wanted to talk about anything other than the official story blocks away from where the official Dog and Pony Show, the Hunger Games ceremony, is being conducted. And Alex Jones is there in a free speech zone. They've got free speech caged into a little area there, but Alex is letting them have it with full bullhorns. Let's go right to that event. We got Alex live there with the crowd.
I salute you all for standing here for the First Amendment. You are incredible. What's that, David Knight?
We're live, Alex. We got you on.
Okay, good. Are we back from break?
Yep.
What time is it?
It's 12:55.
All right. Well, this is historic. Where's my other reporters? I want to get their take on things. Where's Darren McBreen? And then we got right here, we got the one, the only, Anthony Gucciardi. What do you think of this? Pretty historic.
This is massively historic, ultimately because it's a 50th anniversary and they're trying to make it so that they're acting as if JFK would support what they're doing. We're here with the Real Truth Media showing the spirit of JFK, the spirit of 1776, and plowing through the rhetoric and lies.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation. Do you think the establishment likes it?
Absolutely not. That's why they're barricading it off. That's why the media reluctantly are coming here to cover us and actually abandoning the main event, because this is what people care about, and they're so angry about that fact.
Resistance is victory. That's right. The key to the bullhorn, I've noticed, is you have to scream into it. The answer to 1984 is 1776. 1776, 1776, 1776, 1776, 1776, 1776, 1776, 1776. Here, hold this mic on my mouth. I know what to do. They wanted to stick us over here to block our sound. But if I can actually hoist this up, I can get even more sound out of them. I can aim right over these people's heads, triangulate it right into the thing. Freedom! 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 Ah! Yeah! Freedom! 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 You folks are awesome.
Keep fighting for freedom, baby.
You're asking my next move, man. I'm pretty tired. I don't know. What do you think we ought to do? Anyways, Anthony, Knight, you want to take over for a minute?
Sure. We're live with Alex in Dallas, and they're in the free speech zone that the mayor has graciously allowed them to get quite a distance away from the official ceremony and have their say. And they're going to, after they've all cleared out, after all the royalty, the people who have gotten their permits and their tickets in advance, they're going to graciously allow some protesters to go and pay their respects 50 years after JFK was assassinated on this day. And we've seen nothing but official lies and cover-ups for 5 decades, topped off by Mayor Rawlings closing down all of Dallas to any free speech. Anyone who questions the official narrative, they're not allowed. So that's why Alex is there, and we're going to be right back after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight here in Austin, and yes, we do want answers. We've wanted answers for 50 years about the JFK assassination. A lot of people have done investigation, not the government. We have an official censorship, an official concealment still going on today. Never been more so than at this ceremony that's been devised by the current mayor of Dallas, Mayor Rawlings. And Alex is up there to protest the infringements on free speech. And they're trying to claim that this is what JFK would want. It is absolutely the opposite
David,
of what JFK wanted.
I
can hear you.
For a few minutes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We're back, Alex. Go ahead. You got the floor.
Okay, great. Yeah, they had me muted or something. I'm going to start calling you guys on the cell phone because I'm out of contact with you. I don't know. I was talking for like 3 minutes. Nobody could hear me. But, yeah, we're out here, and I like that idea. Impeach Obama! Impeach Obama! Impeach Obama!
Right.
Impeach Obama! Impeach Obama! Impeach Obama! Impeach Obama! Arrest George W. Bush! Arrest George W. Bush! Arrest George W. Bush! Arrest the entire criminal cabal. Arrest all the globalists. Bring them in before grand juries. They've all committed treason under the New World Order against this country, and we are done with it, and we know they're staging false flags, and we're aware of what's going on. We're aware of what's happening, and we aren't standing for it anymore. Now, I want to go over here and talk to the police on a live feed, and I want to find out right now if the event's over, because supposedly coming up, citizens are going to be able to go in there now that they've had their little fake event. So let's go talk to them. David, again, you can take over for a minute here, but only about 30 seconds. I want to talk to the people at the network. I want to talk to them and see if technically they're able to hear me.
Sure, I've got it. You know, we have Mayor Rawlings standing up there telling us, and we have the official story from David McCullough.
Yeah, I really want to talk to the guys at the studio. That's all I want to do, off air.
Okay, am I live here, guys?
Okay, I just want to be able to talk to them. You can do the show, David.
All right.
I want to talk to them.
Got it. Well, you know, Mayor Rawlings is there. They have their little dog and pony show. They've got David McCullough from PBS telling us what the JFK administration was about. But we have JFK's words. We know what he said. We know that he believed that secrecy was repugnant. And listen to what he had to say. He said, "No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, That would include people like Mayor Rawlings in Dallas. He said, none of these people, anybody, civilian, military, high or low, should interpret my words as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. We have facts that we deserve to know. We need to know, even if it was mistakes. We don't believe it was mistakes. A lot of investigation has been done, but we need to know what happened there. And a lot of people have tried to get at that. We still have a lot of classified documents we've not been allowed to see, but for 50 years, they've been covering up this assassination. And now they've pushed everybody blocks and blocks away from their official ceremony where they pretend to honor the legacy of JFK. But we know what he stood for. We know what he stood against, and that's what we're standing against right now. Alex, you ready to come back? Is he back? Does he want to talk? Okay, I think he's still preparing things. Okay, he's coming back online.
I told you that. All right, guys, sorry, I just lost connection to the network. They're doing a great job. A few technical difficulties, but this is real media out here in the trenches with all these great citizens standing up to the First Amendment. This is so incredibly historical, and we salute everyone that's out here. It's simply amazing, and I'm told from our IT folks that we crashed the YouTube's. We had 1 million viewers on Ustream, and it crashed.
We take it down.
1 million viewers on Ustream. Well, I got 3 million when we covered.
Okay,
when we had 3.
We're going to be right back. You can catch us live right here on the radio. We'll be back in just a couple of seconds.
Alex Jones here with them.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight here in Austin, and we have Alex live in Dallas at the JFK commemoration of the 50th anniversary of his assassination. And what we see there is a dramatic contrast between the secretive and closed society that JFK opposed on every issue, every speech that he gave. He was against the kind of secrecy and censorship that we see happening in Dallas. And we see a contrast between the controlled ceremony, the controlled media, and the authentic media. And right now we've got Alex on the square with the crowds. Alex?
We confirmed, thank you, we confirmed by Lewis there at the office who does a lot of the social network stuff, and he's got screenshots of it. We're going to do an article of it later. 1 million continual viewers on Ustream alone, and then they had to turn our channel off, I guess, because of bandwidth. We have some backup channels right now that we've got, but Ustream, that's like when we sent Watson and Aaron Dykes to Switzerland 2 years ago. They had 3.5 million viewers over the 2 days. It's like you hit that zeitgeist. Of course, we have them on the regular radio audience, 3 million a day, and that's great. They're the folks that help us do everything, and it's key, but they're the choir. It's when we go out. I mean, I don't know if drudgereport.com or what happened as I'm out here on the street. I don't know how we got 1 million on Ustream. Like NASA barely gets that, you know, when they're like landing on Mars or something and use Ustream. So we need to get a hold of Ustream. We have the owner's name. He's a fan. It must have been, it probably had a setting in there. I don't think he would turn it off on us. We need to call him and get that stream with 1 million people on it simultaneously. People tuning in and out. I mean, that would have been tens of millions. Imagine the mainstream media can't even get a few million viewers for their average channel. Nationally, internationally. We're here with 3 million listening on the radio over the next 3 hours, 3 million listening a day on average, 15 million a week. This is so exciting, and all of you are out here. It is amazing. And meanwhile, it looks like they've ended the ceremony, so I'm going to try to find some police here so that I can find out exactly what's going on. Hey, officers, how you doing? I need to talk to whoever's in charge. It was a sergeant earlier. Can you guys tell me who's in charge? Oh, well, none of the police will talk to me. I want to make that clear because I'm out here just doing this. The crowds have left. We're now here. The police run from us, and I guess they've been told not to talk to anybody. And so I know they're up there watching us, wanting to know what we're doing. We're wanting to talk to you. That's what we want. And we're wondering, the crowds have all left. I mean, I thought this went to 2:30, and then they were going to let our group in to Dealey Plaza. But if it's already over, and while I'm still live on air, I want to be able to go back on air. Now, I'm probably going to get the silent treatment when I get over here, but I forget his name. It was Sergeant something. It was a black guy. He said he would arrest me if I used a bullhorn when I'm over here up against the fence, which is not my plan, to interrupt the ceremony, because then the media would spin that against us. I probably should have interrupted it. It's immoral to let them sit up there and lie and do this, but I didn't want to fall into the trap, so I was not even intending to do that. And so now I'm here, and the memorial looks like it's over. Like the Jumbotron's gone, and, I mean, that's all she wrote. So I'm just going to try to find out. I mean, I'm on 104.1. I know the police are all listening. I want to know when we're going to be allowed into the deal so I can find out what's going on. Hi, guys. Can I talk to the public affairs person or whoever it is? Because they told us when it was over we could go in there. That's been in the news. And in about 30 minutes, they said there's a ceremony. We're asking the best place to go in. Sir, how you doing?
Good. Right now you can't go in. And right now I'm in charge, so...
Sure. What's your name, officer?
Lieutenant Pendleton.
Thanks for your help. Okay, well, when will we get told, and where do we go in?
That I'm not sure, but for right now you cannot go in.
But it is over now.
Hang on one second, that's my fault.
Okay, right up there. Just, I mean, come on, man. The thing's over. We need to go in. They told us, the police department told us a week ago when we called them that after it was over at 2, we could go in, and then we could go in at 2:30 into the main thing for a moment of silence. COPA threatened a lawsuit. It's been in the Dallas Morning News. You guys know about that. So it says on the cell phone, just listen to 104.1. As I know you're up there listening, you can hear exactly what we want to do. So we just want to lead our people in there now so that we can then go back to the hotel and eat lunch. So if we can get this done early, it'll be good. You guys can go eat lunch. We will leave after you let us go in there and talk for 20 minutes. Anyway, syndicated radio broadcast. We're up here at the line. He's coming back. Looks like he might tell us something. Oh, there's the guy. No, that's not him. Anyways. Well, yeah, he told him not to let us in because he doesn't know what to do yet. Just go read the newspaper. They already said we could come in when it's over. No. They can't. Anyways, we're here broadcasting live. And the thing's already over. It'll just take the bureaucracy a while to figure out what's going on. David Knight, give us your take on all this.
How creepy is that, Alex? They won't talk to you. Our public servants won't talk, but they just watch and listen for the most part. You did get one guy saying you can't go anywhere. You can't go in. You got to be kept out of there, I guess, until they get the royalty out.
I hear you.
Yeah, Mayor Rawlings and his prestigious group of elite, there's little 25 people, they got to get out of there first.
Absolutely. Well, you're doing a great job up there, and I just want to say that because the team has all done such a great job. This has been kind of crazy and Keystone Cop of us as well, but it's what reality looks like.
Yeah.
And we're just out here trying to cover the story and becoming the story. Total gonzo journalism. It's over. The crowds have basically 95% left. There's almost no one here now, and we are still locked out of it, even though there were lawsuits that were filed, but then they withdrew them and they promised that after the ceremonies we would be let in. By 2 o'clock, technically, they said it was over, but so we still have time to be let in, but it's over. Might as well be let in now. But I don't want to obsess over that all day. What do you make, David, of 1 million people on our one Ustream account, not to mention the 3 million radio listeners? I mean, we are the dominant media now. And so...
That's right. They don't want a controlled dog and pony show, you know, just as Anthony Gucciardi pointed out. They can't even pull that off. They keep losing the audio feed. But nobody's interested in this controlled bunch of speeches and songs and the Dallas Symphony Orchestra playing. They want to know what's really going on. The real story here is how they're censoring free speech, how they're controlling debate, how they're trying to silence everybody, how they're caging people into free speech zones. This is something they've been doing at political conventions for the last couple of presidential elections, and it's absolutely disgusting. The ACLU's got lawsuits outstanding about this. They put people in cages at the presidential nominating conventions, and this is happening now everywhere, and it's absolutely disgusting, and people want to see this live. That's why they're flooding Ustream. That's why they're crashing Ustream.
That's right, because they can't get the real feed anywhere else.
That's right.
And by the way, I know we've got 1 million plus people visit Infowars.com a day, but I wonder why that one stream went over 1 million, now we're told, over 1 million at one time. I mean, is the MightyDrudgeReport.com linking to us? I wonder if that's what did it. It is just amazing.
No, there's no link from Drudge right now. That's without a link from Drudge.
Wow, so it's just organically, just through Infowars and the radio audience, all of that happened. And I just lost my feed. Okay, I'm good. I'm still on. Great. In fact, guys, let my audio guy in there with me. Thank you so much. Great job.
You know, Alex, people are starved for information that isn't controlled. As we said yesterday, controlled speech is not free speech. People want authenticity. They want real news. They want to see what's happening on the street. What's happening on the street is how the ordinary people, how the public is being caged and kept out, how the debate about what happened, the investigation about what happened, 50 years later, is still being silenced, is still being
Well, that's
set
right.
aside.
I mean, you just made the point. That's why we had 1 million people watching on Ustream until it went down. That's why we have 3 million listeners a day. We're not. I mean, I'm not even that good. It's that everybody else is sold out. Everybody else takes orders. Everybody else lets them tell you Obamacare's free, and then it's not free. It doubles the prices, and they go, "Shut up, conspiracy theorist." I mean, we're living in a total and complete fantasy land, and the BS and the lies does not work anymore. And that's why we're here broadcasting live worldwide on AM and FM stations across the United States. And, you know, I don't have an affiliate in Dallas anymore. The 10,000 watt we have for about 4 years changed formats. But we're about to get a new station in Dallas. But that's why we rolled in with a micro transmitter to cover about a 10-mile area, well, so that we could point out that the people can take action against tyranny. 104.1, that, by the way, is not interfering with any commercial stations. We picked the only clear frequency that's there. And that's a whole other issue. About 10 years ago or 11 years ago, they passed a law that there were all these extra frequencies for translators that were supposed to go to community groups and other things. They didn't. They all went as like repeaters for big establishment stations. And so that's why it's more important than ever that we keep the internet free and alive, because as the real alternative media rises and crushes the establishment, they are moving in with systems to try to censor it. COPA and CISPA and the cybersecurity legislation, all the rest of it, that even CBS News admits is internet killing. But the people have a taste for freedom now. They have a taste for alternative information, and they've decided the alternative is now the choice and is now dominant. And the dinosaur media is scared to death. They know we have a bigger audience than them on average. They know they can't shut us up. They know we're waking up, and they know Americans will come out in the rain for the First Amendment and free speech that our forebears fought for. And we salute you for being here. We are here to promote the Bill of Rights and Constitution. We are here to promote basic liberty. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we have been told that we're supposed to be able to go in there when the event is over. And this is now basically the beginnings of a betrayal of that. Of course, what did they do? When the people dropped the lawsuit, they said you can come in after the event. And then now it's over, and now we're not being let in. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. And again, we've already talked to police that have talked to the others. They're obviously trying to talk to some bureaucrat or trying to talk to the mayor who thinks he can micromanage everything on the planet. And now we're sitting out here in the rain, not allowed to go in there and point out the giant stage.
50 years. To the Alex Jones Show. It's a cold, rainy day in Dallas on this 50th anniversary of the JFK assassination. And Alex Jones is there live, confronting the lies and the conspiracies that have been going on now, the cover-ups for 50 years. Alex?
And we're here, and what the court said, and the agreement was that once it was over, they'd let us into the main area, and then at 2:30 we can go into the ceremony and have our own ceremony. But the local police don't even know what we're talking about. So we're all standing out here in the rain. I just want to salute all the people that are here standing in the rain. I want to salute you all for standing in the rain for the First Amendment and for the basic liberty and freedom of this country. And we have an agreement with the city that when the ceremony's over, we can get into the main area, and then at 2:30 into the actual internal area. And we'd like, under the First Amendment, for the people in the city to do what they said they'd do and just let us get over there so we can get under shelter and then go do our own memorial so we can then get back out of the rain. If not, we can just stay here. That's fine, too. The point is that we came here for the First Amendment. I wasn't going to come to Dallas, even though it's my hometown, for the 50th anniversary, because everybody I know knows that criminal elements of the government killed John F. Kennedy and then killed his brother and killed Martin Luther King. But the bottom line here is that when I heard the mayor, and actually saw him on national TV, saying, we're going to have a classy event, no conspiracy people. A conspiracy person is someone that doesn't believe known certified liars and that knows how to use their own brain. You know, when we said that Obamacare was written to double your premiums and kick people off, we read the bill, we got called conspiracy theorists. I got called that on MSNBC, and it all came true because I was reading the bill. Okay, if reading a bill means I'm a conspiracy theorist, that's great. The system is discredited because they've been caught lying so much. And that's why we're now here today to reclaim the First Amendment. We are now here today to let the establishment know that we are awake and aware of what's going on and that we will not relinquish any of the Bill of Rights or Constitution. Ever. Never. We will never relinquish any of it. Not the first, not the second, not the fourth, the fifth, the seventh, the eighth, the ninth, the 10th. We're not giving any of it back. Hey, how about we get rid of the other part of the Bill of Rights that ended slavery, you know, because they're getting rid of everything else. This is insane, and we're here as a real civil rights movement reclaiming the right of free speech, and we stood up to the mayor and his attempts to block free speech. And I know that the Dallas police also didn't energetically follow the unconstitutional orders, so that's good. Their children might grow up in a halfway free country. We are all here to promote the Bill of Rights and Constitution. We are here to keep basic American freedom alive. And again, salute the crowd that has been standing in the rain. You are awesome. Freedom, 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 Ladies and gentlemen, we're broadcasting live for the 50th anniversary of JFK in Dallas, Texas, if you just joined us. And we have absolutely just massive viewership, readership, and folks tuning into the radio right now. Every one of our barometers, every one of our gauges just shows masses of new people coming to Infowars.com and Prisonplanet.com. We are fighting on every single front. We are fighting for basic human dignity here, and this is so historic what's happening right now. And I got to say, I mean, it absolutely blew up, and the mayor and the local CIA Dallas folks totally blew up in their face on every front. Absolute victory against this tyranny. And I just, again, everybody out there, I just keep thanking people. This has been awesome, and it makes me proud to be an American here today, to know that we're out here in the rain with the greatest of liberty lovers defending the First Amendment. I mean, it all begins with the First Amendment, because without that, you have nothing. Look at Tiananmen Square. David Knight, I know you're taking us out to break, but just look at this feed here of these great folks out here in the rain.
It's pretty cold there, isn't it? I hear it's 35 degrees, and you've got a large crowd of people standing in the rain to assert their First Amendment rights. That's really commendable.
Absolutely. That's what we're doing, David.
Yeah, that's really commendable. You know, it's amazing to see how the city of Dallas and how the American government has turned liberty and freedom on its head. When we come back right after the break, I'm going to give you a quote from JFK. It's something that he said about the Soviet Union, but I want you to listen carefully to it and think if it doesn't sound more like a description of our current government, of our current NSA, of our current administration that assassinates people around the world with drones. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, and this is the 50th anniversary of the JFK assassination. Alex is live in a freezing cold and rainy Dallas. He's exercising his First Amendment rights, and they've just been led into an area where they've held him out for the entire day. Now they've opened up the gates and they're walking in. But just before the break, I told you I was going to come back with a quote from JFK, and I want you to listen to this quote. And I want you to keep in mind that this was said about the Soviet Union at the time of JFK, but I want you to think about the NSA. I want you to think about the secretive FISA court. I want you to think about the Obama assassinations and listen to what he said about the Soviet Union at that time. Ask yourself if that doesn't apply today to our government. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. Is that our government today, 50 years after JFK was assassinated? I think so. Alex, you're getting in now, right?
well said. No. They're that's what they originally said with the court. We're let in here after the thing, then we're let in there with at 2:30. It doesn't matter. There's nothing to see anyways. So now we're here. That's great.
Public streets and free speech.
Romanesque Praetorian the maneuver. Anyways, at least you got warmed up though, huh? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're here. The mainstream corporate whore media, the state-run media. Anyways, the state-run media. Here, just get over here, Jacobson. Good job, Jacobson. Anyways, just had a little. Anyways, the point is that we're out here, and I'm kind of all over the map because it's crazy. I got a lot I want to say about the state-run media, but I'm sure the head cop let us in. They probably didn't even know we were coming over. That's why they're all freaking out. Anyways, Leanne McAdoo, you haven't said a lot today as you're over there all snuggled in, freezing. What do you make of the day?
I think it's been a great victory. All these people, nobody's putting up with this, and they don't know what to think of it. And also, I felt like I was watching like Gotham City when the mayor was talking. He was like, we're amazing here in Dallas, and we've changed a lot in the last 50 years. And it made it all about Dallas. JFK wasn't the president of Dallas. He was the president of the United States of America. Ugh. That's all I got to say about that.
Very, very well said, Leanne. Very, very good. This is very, very exciting. Oh, look, we have the Federal Protective Service here to keep the empty stands safe from the citizens. There's some corporate state-run media in there that is so royal that they have Federal Protective Services there to literally wipe their booties because they are completely royal. You know, the Queen of England actually has a groom of the stool, and I'm serious. Queen of England, and I think all citizens of America should live like they do in North Korea, and that it should be the law that the federal government is God, and that we wipe the hind end of anyone that is in the federal government. We already basically pay for their whole life and everything they do. So I think we should actually chop our children's heads off and spray their blood directly into the mouths of the feds to fatten the vampires even quicker. First, I'm being sarcastic before the New York Times runs that as a headline in a story. But we're here, and this is very, very successful. And then we got to find the COPA folks. We're going to go in there at 2:30, right? Okay, well, where are they? Because they're the ones we're supposed to be doing this with. We can just get this over with. That is a mustache. Oh, my God. That guy is a rock star right there. Oh, my goodness. I mean, that looks like a fake mustache. That's so good. I mean, that is spectacular. I mean, it's like the Russian Tsar. Oh, come on over here. You know you want to show it off. That's why you got it. I mean, that is spectacular. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we are broadcasting live and worldwide here. And I got a little dingy and a little goofy. I haven't been getting a lot of sleep. Because outside the hotel, there's a whole train depot. And it's not noisy during the day, but at night, all they do is ding, 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 and go back and forth. Leanne, you were telling me you haven't been getting much sleep.
No, not a lot. We have a great view. It's a spectacular view, but the train station is mighty loud at night.
Ding, 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 especially at about 3 in the morning. Again, it is so awesome to be out here with all of you. Hey, let's walk around to the front and get a better view over here. Come on. This is awesome. Again, David Knight, I'm about to get over here. I'm going to bullhorn some here in just a minute. But,
Love you, Alex.
well, hold on. Oh, we can't go over there? Oh, I get it. Well, never mind. I thought that was open. Well, soon we'll be able to go do something.
Isn't it great to have a free press and free speech, Alex?
Oh, yeah, exactly what Kenny was talking about. All right, I'll go back down this way. Come on, let's go. Everybody, we're not going to do this much longer. We just had to show everybody that, we're not going to let them take over, not let us have free speech, and that's good. We've exercised it. It's been very successful, and most of the establishment media has already done their news pieces. I wanted to be nice and not do this to you, but I'll try to shoot it over your heads. Here we go. You state-run media in there are a joke, and people are awake and aware of what you're doing. We are sick and tired of your propaganda and all of your garbage, and we are aware of what you're doing. And we have more viewers and listeners today than any of your biggest stations by themselves. And there's more real media rising up all the time because people are hungry for the truth. The people are hungry for reality. They're hungry for choice. They don't want to be spoon-fed. That's why people fought back in the old Soviet Union and spoke out. And that's what we're doing. We're not letting you turn America by every yardstick into an authoritarian, oppressive system. And I want to salute the real independent media, not just here but worldwide, exposing the fact that John F. Kennedy was murdered by a conspiracy of criminals within the federal government and offshore banks to turn America into a system that can be extracted and enslaved, in the words of MSNBC former host Dylan Ratigan. John F. Kennedy was murdered here 50 years ago today. His body wasn't even cold right now 50 years ago today. And we are here to expose the reality of what went on here. And then they killed Martin Luther King. They killed RFK. They killed his brother. This is the reality, and that's why we're here standing up for free speech and standing against the 50-year establishment lie that one man killed John F. Kennedy here in Dallas 50 years ago. I officially declare the lie that a lone gunman killed Kennedy dead. You're fraud. And the empire that you wanted to build globally off the blood, sweat, and tears of Americans is collapsing. This corporate empire has been at the expense of the American people and other people around the world. It is hurting our country, hurting our name, and we declare your new world order is dead. Your world government is falling. You can't just call us conspiracy theorists anymore and have us just shut up. The people know the truth. And we know we got a First Amendment, and we know we got a 10th Amendment, and we know we got a 4th Amendment, and we know the NSA. I used to tell folks how the NSA was spying, exactly how they were doing it 16 years ago. It was all declassified. It wasn't secret. How they set it all up. They had to fund it. They had to pass laws to get it that were unconstitutional. And they would call me a conspiracy theorist. Now nobody's laughing. I exposed Obamacare by reading the legislation that it would double your prices and kick people off, written by foreign insurance companies to rape America. They said I was a conspiracy theorist. Now it all came true because it was in the bill. All I do is research what's really going on and tell the truth. And we're here to take America back, and I salute you all for being here. Yeah! Yeah! No more lies. No more lies. No more lies! 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 Of the United States of America. Dinosaur media is dead. 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 Police are dinosaur media. Yes. Oh. They've got the reinforcements for the unruly crowd. Oh, my goodness. They're here. Dun, dun, dun. Oh. No, we're not booing. Why are there more police? Are we evil? Or is it the joke about that guy's mustache? Time to leave. Go. Hey, man, what are you doing? Hey, they let us in here. Oh, so videotape this. I'm going to fall back.
All right, so it looks like they're pulling the police out and pushing everybody back. They're getting pretty tough.
Really out of here.
For people who are listening to us live, they let them in, and now they've got the police are shoving people, shoving Alex, shoving the crowd.
Here we go, folks. I'm being assaulted by police Hey, you got to get off my cord, man.
North Korean thugs. These are people who don't believe in the First Amendment.
You guys are engaging in tyranny.
Absolute disgusting. There it is, live. You can see it.
All right, I've literally had cops get up close where nobody could see and then start punching me in the stomach. And I want video of them because I need video. Listen, get me Josh because I want to videotape.
All right, they're punching Alex right now.
Literally sent guys wearing masks. This is the police state. Well, when the real revolution starts, these guys are in trouble. Hey, why didn't you guys why did you guys let us in here to do that? Why did they let us in and then assault us? What the hell why did you let us in and then assault us? Hey, let's not.
They let them in the area. They told them they could come in, and now they're coming in like they're trespassers, punching and shoving people.
Look, they got a guy up against the fence. You guys.
All right, we're live in Dallas.
We're all going to get sued big time. You know that, right? We still on air?
Yep, we're still on air.
This is unbelievable. The police are punching people in the face. This is a Dallas police riot. Are we still on air, network?
Yes, you are.
Unbelievable. The police are completely mentally ill and insane, and they just punched somebody. You guys, hey, when the real revolution kicks off, good luck. You're really asking for it. Go ahead.
Well, it is Dallas. It's where we shoot our presidents.
You guys are a bunch of coward punk wimps. Oh, listen, I want video of all these goons' faces.
Look at those fat pigs. Look at that guy.
I want
400
the particular
pounds,
one. I want them
5
all.
feet tall.
Boy, I hope you guys enjoy this. It's all on tape. You guys are unbelievable. Unbelievable thugism. We are going back. I saw you guys punch that guy in the face for no reason. Unbelievable. This is the criminality, ladies and gentlemen, of the government. They are so angry that we came over there. They said they were supposed to let us in, and they let us in, and then they assaulted us without even asking us to leave. This is unbelievable, and I'm telling you, we have proven the tyranny now. We have absolutely proven. I am so shocked by the thug goon cops they sent that aren't even police, that literally wanted to attack Americans, literally wanted. And I'm telling you, I was so ready to. I mean,
after Josh.
This is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen.
See it.
All right, can you hear me, David Knight? I can now hear you.
I can see it. I see him shoving Josh.
BS. You guys are a giant gang of whip punks. Hey, you bring your biggest goon cop out here, have him stand up against me. Huh? I guarantee you're a bunch of damn cowards. And I hope you enjoy the lawsuits you get. I'm telling you, this country's a bunch of authoritarian scum running it. We did absolutely nothing, and they got over here. My God, it was surreal when the police assaulted people. I saw them punch some guy in the face. They walked right up to me. They did it first when they got below the camera. One of those idiots punched me, sucker punched me in the stomach, thinking I'd fall right over.
I saw it. They assaulted you.
When they came up to me, knowing I'm the leader, and punched me in the stomach. But it wasn't even a big deal. I mean, what total wimps, man. The total, literal goon cops, tough guy cops. Huh?
Nothing but a gang.
Yeah. The service is over for an hour, and then these goons show up and literally assault us. I'm going to go sit right over here for just a moment and regroup with everybody and get my video cameras and make sure. Do we still have feeds going out, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, you do. Get pictures of their faces. Get pictures of their faces. Get the faces of these gang members here.
They would have started shooting us, and Tiananmen Square would have started. I'm telling you, 1776 almost started right there. Because if we'd have started beating their ass, they're cowards, they'd have shot us. And I was literally thinking about when the cops walk over and one punches me in the stomach before they even started pushing, I literally thought right there, do we want 1776 to start? Because those cowards would have started shooting people, including children. Then they would have made crap up. I mean, those guys were a bunch of goons who thought and it was a white guy, a short, big white guy walked up first, and he got right there, and he goes, pow, right in my stomach. Then they started pushing everybody. They wanted me. And then they were shoving some guy's head in the wall. They got him cornered. They pushed a little girl.
Yes. They pushed the little girl.
They pushed everybody.
Hey,
Bunch of thugs.
hey, you guys really are looking for a fight, aren't you? Hey, man,
Yep.
hey, stop violating the First Amendment. That's a bunch of bull. Hey, you guys.
For those of you just joining, Alex and the demonstrators were allowed into this area, and they were standing around peacefully for about 10, 15 minutes.
That's it.
And then a bunch of thugs wearing cop uniforms came out and started punching people.
Hold on, stop. Let's see what they want to do. You guys fucking cowards. You're fucking cowards.
All right, we're going to skip this break. We're going to keep going. This is a near riot as the police are pushing people out that they formally let in.
Look at you. You're not cops. You're thugs and pieces of crap. Gangsters in uniform. You didn't even ask us to leave. You started shoving people and stomping. I saw you stomp on some people.
This is why they call Dallas the city of hate.
Serious stuff over that street there. I want that big gorilla white guy that punched me in the stomach get over here. He's a wimp. He doesn't take his stuff off. I'll kick his ass. Come on. You're so tough. I guarantee you want to fight right now? Bunch of cowards. I'm going to find that guy. I got video of it.
We're going to sit back in the bus.
They're just waiting until we wear ourselves out. All they do is train to hurt America. All they do is train to dominate innocent people. All they do is train. It's a bunch of crap. This is the biggest group of absolute wimp behavior I've ever seen.
1736!
Oh, this guy. These are the type of guys that love to sit there and spy on everybody.
All right, for those of you listening on the radio, this is
We're
Dallas.
putting you in our intelligence file.
This is Dallas, and they previously let Alex and the demonstrators in peacefully, and then they attacked them after they got him in. Another group of cops came out, started punching.
This is really getting out of control, folks. I got to really think. I thought you were with the police. You with the police, buddy? Anyways, my whole point is that, can you hear me, David Knight?
Can hear you.
I got to think about what I want to do here because I've almost gotten in a fight like 3 times with the cops. I mean,
I think we got the fact. You were describing a guy that was really fat.
In the stomach. I literally have got to get out of here. I'm going to start. I mean, I just can't handle this anymore. This country is so screwed up, man. We got to really mourn for this nation. They're supposed to let us in. We go in. The head cop checks. Yeah, let them in. Some other cops said you weren't supposed to let them in. Then they come over. All these goons show up, and I go, no, wait, we don't know what they're here for. They walk up. They get in my face. And then one of them, before it all starts, goes, and hits me in the stomach. Then they start the pushing. They knew cameras couldn't get that. And then they're trying to make me hit them or get mad so they could do something. And it was all set up, all their little plan. They probably let us in so they could do that. Then when it wasn't enough, they came over here to start another fight with us.
They kept pushing us back. And why are they behind the line? Why were they behind the line? They kept pushing us back. We were behind the line.
That's what they've been doing for 50 years in Dallas.
Somebody's shoulders
To kind of cover up in-your-face thugs.
Run over as well.
The little girl.
The little girl was on her dad's shoulders, and they almost got trampled. She was crying. It broke my heart, man. She was scared to death.
Let me tell you, that's how it's going to start, like in V for Vendetta. If she'd have busted her head open or something, 1776 would have started. The globalists better back the hell off. They're a bunch of nuts. They're a bunch of criminals. I'm telling you, man, this country is that close, ladies and gentlemen. That close. I saw him shoving some little, looked like a 5-year-old. I was crying on the ground.
The little girl was
exactly what they've been training for, and we're the enemy.
Yeah.
And they're treating us just like we're the enemy, just like they've been taught. Hey, it's us.
There's a police brutality march that just joined us.
Kind of a rope-a-dope move to let everybody in, say they're going to be allowed in, and then attack them.
I'm going to tell the police something here. I'm going to tell whoever called in that goon squad, you could have even told us to leave like we would have done. We would have left. It was shameful, and you guys are worse than North Korean thugs. I have seen the enemy, and you people are idiots, and the country is going to collapse, and believe me, the American people are going to bring you to justice. You all think you're invincible. You all think you all got it together. You are going to pay big time. I'll tell you right now, it was incredibly, disgustingly shameful that you guys tried to start a fight. You guys are total wimps. You guys are total wimps. I guarantee you got this job so you can pick on people. You think you're tough. Absolutely disgusting. It is. Just keep videotaping. We need to get video. Get the live feed. I'm telling you right now, this is unbelievable. These cops want to physically attack us. They hate Americans. They hate anybody that doesn't work for their criminal mafia government. They absolutely think they're tough. They absolutely just think, I mean, when the revolution comes, man, you're in deep crap. That's all I got to say right now. I'll tell you right now, I mean, the fact that you'd want to sit here and attack people and go after people and do all of this is just absolutely unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen.
These are the kind of gangster thugs that they want to give a monopoly of guns to.
There's a spy right there. Where's your gun?
Hey, is that the one that punched me in the stomach right there? Hey, are you the one that punched me in the stomach? Are you the one you think you're... Hey, give me your card. You want to meet me in something? Think you're tough? Think you kick my ass?
What you doing?
You guys got all your illegal files. Look my ass up. I'll take you and 10 of your buddies on right now. Pull your fucking shirts off and see what happens, punk. You're a coward. You're a coward. You are a coward who wants to punch people when you think you can get away with it. Are you the one? Get that sheriff's deputy's badge number. I'm going to go check the tapes. You might even beat the rap, but you're not going to beat the ride, pal.
You have to.
I'm going to get your jet skis and I'm going to get your bass boat.
I can't wait.
You think you're already in Texas? At least you're in Pittsburgh and won.
I can't wait.
We are awake and we know what's going on and we're done. I have never seen such cowardly BS in my life to a nice, friendly crowd of people. I have never seen anything like this. This is directly out of Tiananmen Square. This is incredibly shameful. Hey, guys, we've already shown how screwed up this is and how the First Amendment's under attack. I think we need to leave now. Everybody get video of these guys so we can identify every one of them. Okay?
That's right. Take their pictures.
Yeah, we're getting it all.
Get their mug shots. They're nothing but a bunch of common criminals wearing a uniform.
Well, man, I couldn't believe it. We've already got it. We'll put it on the TV and then everybody will give it to us. It's a bicycle unit from the... Let me see it, Jacobson.
Dude, hand me that. I got it. Hand me that.
I'm going to sue you for sure now. Okay, here you go. Oh, they're tough. That's why they go and get a job where they can be in a gang. I don't need a gang. I can't believe. This is unbelievable. We already have his badge. We got it over there earlier. Anyways, this guy's unidentified right here. I'll tell you why you're a coward. If I punched you in the stomach right now, you and your goons would try to jump on me and break my back. That's how cowards operate. I mean, I can't imagine being that big of a wimp, man. I mean, I cannot imagine wanting to. I mean, I'm not a bully. I just don't understand it.
It's all good. 60 million people know who you are now, brother. 60 million.
More like 3 million today. But look, you'll be able to find it all out, document them all. I'm not even sure. I think he's the one. Yeah, but I mean, one of them punched me when I wasn't even doing anything.
They tell us to go over there, we push us right back. They baited us. You baited us. This is entrapment. You're all getting sued.
Live from Dallas, this is Alex Jones. And they just allowed everybody, all the peaceful demonstrators in, and then attacked them.
Here we go, guys. This is incredible. Yeah? I think it was him, yeah.
Here, you want to get on there? Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Look, your bank accounts, everything are going to be liquidated soon. The globalists are coming after everybody. America's falling. That's what this is about. That's right. Where was the security 50 years ago? No, it's only here for the American people. Well, I've definitely had enough fun with these crazy people. My God, they literally sent a goon squad over there.
No feeling so bad.
Well, no, they wanted to beat us up. They wanted to attack us. And I'm sorry I started blowing up a little bit and cussing, but I was just on the very edge of starting to, man, I tell you. Those guys are such cowards. They wouldn't do that in person with somebody. No, they only do it when they're in a big group like that. Let me tell you, folks, we've seen the enemy now. They've trained that we're the enemy. They are our enemy. They want to be our enemy. At least that group of people did right there. They absolutely are mentally ill. We're over there laughing, having fun, about to leave, and then all these guys come running up aggressively and start shoving and pushing us. I even saw some of the other cops going, "What are you doing?" I saw the other police going, "What are you doing?" They let us in, and then they did that to us. Absolute, total, and complete horse crap.
Hey, Alex, can you hear me?
And I know the police are listening on 104.1 right now, so I can talk to the police department directly. This is the most mentally ill, dumb thing I have ever seen in my life. That we're supposed to go in there, we were supposed to be part of the deal, and then they literally assault us after they let us in and we're over there being nice. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. We just saw a Dallas police riot, ladies and gentlemen. We literally just saw mental illness on display. All right, folks, walk with me back this way. I personally am just absolutely blown away that they let us in. The newspaper said at the end of the ceremony we'd be let into the main area at 2:30 for the ceremony. And then, do you know what just happened over there? I mean, this is mental illness because COPA filed the lawsuit, then they took it back. They said when it was over, the main groups could go in, whoever wanted, and then at 2:30 we could go on to the area for our own wreath laying. Those cops were all nice. Everything was fine. They let us in. We're just sitting over there laughing about to leave if they didn't hurry up and let us in there. And like 15 goon-like cops run in. The other cops go, what are you doing? They all run up. One of them starts, I guess, trying to provocateur, like punching me in the stomach, not just pushing me. And I was in shock at that point. There was like little girls, people's shoulders, knocking people down. One guy didn't even resist him. They had him pinned up against a sign. That was literally what I see in third world countries. That was crazy. We weren't even yelling at them. We weren't even saying anything. A few people like booed because they were obviously showing up to attack us. We're like, ooh, and the other cops were like, no, it's all right. And then they attacked us. I mean, what the hell just went on? Do you want your kids growing up in a country like that? What is your name, sir?
That's a cop.
Anyways.
He won't say anything. They just stare. That's
My
creepy.
whole point is this culture into the police that you see in a third world country. They don't even say sir to the public. I say sir to everybody. I'm from Texas. They literally, the average police, especially in big cities, are literally, they're doing psychological tests, whatever, programming in the authoritarian model and type. And they're not, I mean, I have a lot of cops listen to my show. They're really nice, give us a lot of good tips and stuff. But it's like the mob psychology of whoever called in those cops to literally assault people. And folks almost fought back. And then if a kid gets hurt or something in the atmosphere of this country, you know what's going to happen. Folks, it's 1776. It's so close. And I do everything on my radio show. I guess the police obviously around here don't listen and don't know, to try to, with all the military and all the special warfare people that are just waiting and getting ready, and they say they're going to go after the tip of the spear of the police when it all starts. And I'm saying, no, we need to take the country back peacefully. And I just hope all the police up there listening and watching who wanted to play Rambo and play tough guy, I hope you understand that when you push us, you take our guns, you do this. America won't just be run over by goons forever and shoved up against walls and little girls crying like it's Tiananmen Square. You guys need to know that. So I literally just got radicalized 10 more levels today. I mean, I'm telling you, because nothing was going on. We're standing around laughing, and then the other cops, when the goons ran up, were like, what are you doing? And it was just, and they didn't say you need to go. They just started shoving everybody. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Most everybody's gone home. Great job, everybody. I'm leaving. And it's really sad that the First Amendment did pretty well here today until now, and I am completely shocked. So, and they're taking all our other rights, and they're taking up the pension funds, all the liberties going, all the prosperity, all the due process. America is dying. America is dying. It's very sad. Come on, folks. We tried to do the best we could. We tried to do the best we could. Man, I am just totally depressed and totally freaked out for this country. God, we're in trouble. This country is so screwed up. I mean, it's one thing if you got a bunch of people out yelling at cops, throwing things, something, to have the cops do that. This was literally, we're standing around admiring some cop's giant mustache. We're making jokes. we're talking about the horror media, and literally like 15 guys run up. Most of our crowd had already left, out for hours in the rain, and this one really goonish one, looked like an ex-convict type, but I mean, those guys all did look like criminals. I mean, I just, this country, I'm living in Clockwork Orange here. All right, we're going out to break here in a minute. David and I, we're going to keep transmitting until I get back, and I tell you, this is just absolutely disgusting.
It was the sheriff that attacked us.
It was the sheriff.
The sheriff's, yeah.
Yeah, it was the sheriff's. Sheriff's deputies. Wasn't the...
That's the chief right there. And he goes, it was the sheriff. It was
In the last 50 years,
it was the sheriff.
iodine has been phased out of our staple.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, and we're still live, although we're in overdrive. We just had an incident in Dallas where Alex and the people with him were attacked, an unprovoked attack by the Dallas police. I think it was the sheriff's department. Alex, recap this for everybody, exactly what just happened here.
Rob Dew, thank you. Rob Dew, being calm, cool, and collected, actually talked to one of the head police, and I think he has it on video. He's shooting it on high def. And he said, you ought to be ashamed of your men. And the guy looked at him basically with tears in his eyes, and he said, no, it's the sheriff did it. And now that I think back, it was actually sheriff's deputies.
Yes.
And we have a witness. They formed up at the federal building under DHS orders because they had a DHS guy that went over and got him. And I remember him leaving when I made a joke about wiping the federal government's butt. And then the federal guy went over, got those guys because they pay sheriff's deputies, Dallas police, you name it, to be part of special event. Special security. It's like, oh, you're a little junior CIA agent. You get to, chew on our toes and stuff like that. You get to bow down to us. You get to bring us coffee. Exactly. They're like the little minions. And so literally we're all standing there being totally friendly to the cops, talking to them. Everything's fine. We're waiting officially to be let in after the event, and then at 2:30 after that to be let into the grassy area itself with COPA and other groups to lay the wreath. And to have a moment of silence there. And that was over lawsuit threats that they had to open it up after the official event. And that was the deal. So I told a senior Dallas police officer who was out there, who was in charge of everything, he went and checked. He goes, yeah, that's true. Go in. So we're in there about 30 minutes broadcasting live. We're about to leave. We're like, who wants to go into the sanctum of sanctums? We're already in here. We're done. Let's go get something to eat. And all of a sudden, these guys come running up all aggressively. So the crowd kind of goes, ooh. And I go, no, don't boo. They're nice. I don't know why, but they were acting real aggressive, getting ready. And we're talking to the Dallas police. The Dallas police looked at them and said, why? What? And the sheriff's deputies basically were in command and said, pointed at them. And then this real criminal-looking, like criminal out of a movie comes up, and they were looking at me like they wanted to kill me. And I thought, man, this is like the criminal squad. These are the guys that do the nasty stuff. And then they didn't push first. One of them punched me from about 6 inches away, looking that there were no cameras. Pow, hoping I'd do something. But it was into my rib. It wasn't even that bad. It was kind of like, about like that. So he hit me, and then it did take me off guard. I was like, and then boom, 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 boom. And we're like, whoa, let us go. And then they would see people falling over and get in on that and shove some guy over a little girl and shove their head into a... They pinned one guy that wasn't resisting him in any way up against one of those city signs and were just ramming his head in with pleasure. This was hardcore criminal energy with a trained attack dog that America and free people are their enemy, just ready to attack. Hatred of freedom, hatred of free speech. They literally brought in those are the goons. With the sheriff's department. They look dirtier than hell. They ought to be in central casting for movies of dirty cops. They look gangsterous, low-down, thug-like scum. And the sheriff's department is under federal control. And I guess their argument was Dealey's federal property. Here's the big lawsuit. We weren't on Dealey Plaza. Yeah, that's federal. That's just like they grabbed Kokesh on federal property. Yeah, well, they're claiming it's a federal park, but then quasi-city. Oh, you just talked to the police. What did they say, Anthony Gucciardi?
Well, after I was literally pushed down by cops onto the cement, and I saw someone get punched in the face.
Did he resist any?
No, not at all. And he was reveling in it. It was this major fat bald guy, and he kept pushing and saying, "Get out of the way!" And I turned around. I said, "Relax, I'm going to go." And he said, "Don't look back at me," and pushed me down. But it was literal insanity. It's all on camera. Go to Infowars.com and see it. Total. That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. That is the most brutal action.
I've seen police attack people if somebody throws a bottle at them or something, and then they'll attack the whole crowd, which is wrong. We did nothing. And they were like little kids, and they knew it. Let me tell you, every instinct as a man in me was, this is the enemy. These are criminals. And every instinct, it was just like flashing, like the revolution, the whole deal, just how we're going to defeat them, how we're going to crush them. I don't want that to happen, but I realize they're not going to stop. They've hired an army of criminals. This is Nazi Germany, folks. This is it. We are in deep, this is Soviet takeover. We are in deep crap. I'm telling you, this country is in deep crap. Let me tell all the corrupt people who work for the system, all the bureaucrats that pull those goon strings. They've already taken all the pension funds, the Social Security money. It's already all gone. They're bringing America down to enslave us. That's why they're putting all this in place, to absolutely oppress everyone. And the tyranny you've seen in the poor neighborhoods is now going to be exported everywhere. And those cops won't even know why their standard of living goes down. All they'll know is they get to beat people up. Because I saw in their eyes, in some of those guys' eyes, what I've seen in like crime TV shows with the killers and the rapists I was like, whoa, these are real criminals. I mean, these were bad men. These were real killers. These were scum cowards, though, who want to do it in a gang when they've got the power of the badge and everything behind them. This is a shameful, let me tell you, the Dallas County Police are literally unbelievable trash. I have never seen anything like this. Good Shardy, it was, one of the first times in my life, I was actually speechless by the criminal energy, and every level of me was just envisioning what we're going to have to do to stop them. I mean, this is unbelievable.
I was standing right next to you, Alex, and we were like, it turned into berserk mode. I mean, we're all about peaceful activism. I felt like I was literally in a war, and they had begun a hot berserking attack on us. Every instinct of my primal body said fight back and, fight back, but I didn't do it because I didn't want to resist.
But we're smarter than we're going to win in the info war, and then they're going to keep pushing the physical, and our forces, the special warfare people, everybody that actually are men, care about honor, are all ready when they try it. Smash their ass.
Exactly.
1776 is coming. 1776 is coming. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. They're trained that we're the enemy. If you're a good person, they're coming for you. Evil is coming. I swear to God, and all of you that serve evil, your children, you're destroying their future. You don't give a crap. None of those guys even have kids. Bunch of crooks. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And we went, and I saw someone. He wasn't directly punching me. He was going to move someone else, and he was forcefully moving his hand. He punched him in the face. The kid couldn't have been 16, 17, and he came back, and he said, I'm finding that badge number. And they looked all over, and I think it was that massively fat guy that pushed me, too. We talked to the lieutenant. And I say that not because I'm against, fat people. It's because he's, like, reveling in, like, illustrious power.
I could tell you some of those guys were tough, but I could tell you, we had right on our side, we would have hammered their ass.
Oh, obviously. No.
So ready.
No one talked about when they came. It's because the people came against police brutality with these signs. It's because they have an open case against them, and they scurried like cockroaches.
Oh, listen, I was telling that sheriff's deputy, we sued Pittsburgh and won. I don't have time to sue people. I have to sue them now. I mean, they just, because that's the legal violence I can use back on them. I said, I'm taking your jet ski, punk. I'm taking your bass boat. And even if you beat the suit, you're not beating the ride. Man, I tell you, I'm going to tell you, this is bad.
You saw the people with the signs, though. They have an open case against Dallas.
Hey, where's the fellow that saw them ganging up at the federal building and being commanded by the feds? Well, where's that fellow that saw that? No. It's a guy in a yellow hat. Yeah.
All right, so we went up, and what we found, we talked to the lieutenant from the Dallas police force, the actual police force, not the sheriff's district or whatever, and we said, what just happened? He said, we would never do that to anyone. We would never do that to you guys. That's the sheriff's. That's the sheriff's office. They're completely different. We would not have done that to you. And we said, yeah, you care about the First Amendment? Yeah, we do. And they were reading the Oath Keepers information, and like, yeah, we're down with this.
That cop wouldn't talk, but he looked really freaked out.
Yeah, they were actually freaked out. They were agreeing with us and saying, wow, they really did that.
Why is the sheriff's department the boss in Dallas? Because they showed up and the cops went, what are you doing? And they were like, those goons were like, to those cops. I mean, it was...
No, the sheriff's department goons were like telling the cops to go away so they could beat the crap out of us. And they're claiming now that that's federal property, except the event is over and we're downtown in the city.
But it's not. It's only a designated federal park on it. We were on city property.
No, we were blocks away at that point, and they were still saying, get out of here. But then the whole thing is, though, they're so afraid of a lawsuit, they scurried away. They were just literally afraid.
Don't they understand that they just literally did all this on international television?
I know, and there's how many cameras are there right now? It's everywhere. The live stream up to 1 million before, probably 2 million now that Alex Jones is getting beaten by cops. Literally, someone, the massive dude was just pushing me, and I said, "Stop that!" And he's like, "Yeah, you like that?" And he just kept pushing me. I mean, it was totally.
They would push like a weaker guy with his daughter. They were like attacking that. It was the predator evil. Listen, they're lucky that little girl didn't get her head busted up on her dad's shoulder. Sir, tell us what you saw. We're going to skip this network break. Go ahead.
I was up there up against the bicycles with you guys. Sorry, I'm so cold right now in the rain. I stepped out to take pictures because the Homeland Security Fusion bus was over there. And so I went out to get pictures of the Homeland Security Fusion bus, and then the sheriffs walked up, and they got in formation, two guys next to each other, all the way back. That's when they marched in. As soon as they marched in, they just started pushing everybody back. I watched some people get yanked by the back of the collar, and their head hit the ground, guy get pinned up against the sign. And they never asked anybody to leave. In fact, they asked us to come over there and then pushed everybody out. They brought us over to the Homeland Security corner, and then the sheriffs came in and pushed everybody out.
No, it was the DHS guy in charge of it. So the feds literally want war with the real Americans.
That's right.
I mean, this isn't. They want Tiananmen Square, folks. They tried to ban free speech, and they're mad that we did this.
If you notice, when we started screaming freedom in 1776, they actually backed off of us when we got onto those grounds. You know, we do need to assert our rights and come out here and tell them that. The American people are strong as long as we continue to stand with each other in this group like we did here today.
I'm going to give this guy a radio show. God bless you, brother. What's your name?
Matthew Short.
What do you... why did it come out of nowhere?
I don't know. It was really weird because we were trying to get through that center street. They had us come back around the corner. And it's almost, the way I looked at it, they almost had us line up right next to the Homeland Security Fusion buses right there. And that's when the sheriffs came in, lined up. They marched in behind the police, pushed the police and us back almost.
Now we know. Yeah. That's it. You're right. It was a complete setup.
And then you say the Dallas police told you that it was sheriffs.
Yeah, they said it was. Yeah, and they said they would never do anything like that, and they're like completely flabbergasted that it happened.
Well, let's be clear then. I said it was a Dallas police riot. It was Homeland Security commanding a literal, because, see, they think they're special. They pick, like, the goons to literally go do their dirty work for them and spy and do stuff. It's on record. And so that was a special events police. That was the national security, national event police. Like, oh, we get to do something. Here's bad people in the rain talking about free speech. Let's attack them. Look, there's little kids. I mean, my God, we got to get control of our government. Let me tell you, that sheriff needs to come out and apologize. And then maybe I won't sue them. But they don't even care. It's taxpayer money. They'll just write old ladies more tickets or do whatever.
Personally, that's what you need to do.
We have to get that sheriff out of office now.
Yeah. And we will win. I mean, we have millions on our side. Every single person here has an iPhone or some type of smart.
Let's hear what Leanne thought. Leanne McAdoo doing a great job carrying all the gear. Come on in here. Our reporter. Tell folks what happened.
Well, we were just standing there joking around, having fun, talking about the dude's mustache and the guy with the red hair. We were calling him the comedian. We were having a good time. They could tell we weren't there to cause any trouble, cause any drama. They were probably going to let us in. And then all of a sudden we see these big, like, black troops, like they're in, like, gear rolling up. Combat gear, riot gear, just rolling up on the side. And all the other cops that were just joking around with us, they're all kind of looking around like, hey, what are these guys doing here? We got this under control. It's all good. All of a sudden, they're just shoving, get back, shoving me. And I'm like, oh, my God. Gucciardi, like, grabs.
By the way, all they had to say was, you need to go. And we would have gone, okay, take us back to whoever. Tell us how things changed. We were assaulted. You were all criminally attacked. We're going to have a class action lawsuit. We're going to get to the bottom of it. Keep telling us.
And then I turn around, and there's a little girl. She's up on her parents' shoulders, and they're pushing her, and she almost gets trampled on.
Yeah,
She's
the dad says,
crying.
please stop, and the cops attacked the kid.
Yeah, they did not care, pushing little kids.
Cops could have bashed that little girl's brains out, and they'd all gotten medals.
Yeah, they were seething with the power of getting us out while we were just joking around, doing nothing, couldn't wait to go in and put on our part of the ceremony to go and say to our moment of silence.
Well, they won. Now they probably don't even know that there was a lawsuit. People are supposed to be able to go in. They don't even know. This is probably one hand not knowing what the other hand was doing.
And then they literally scurried away as soon as there was people there that were saying that, stop the police brutality, mothers against police brutality. It was like a momentous, that was like, kryptonite. It was kryptonite.
That was the Deus Ex.
It was amazing. The energy was amazing. Like, even though it was very scary, it was just to feel all of these people coming together in the face of that tyranny. Like, they could have, sprayed us with mace or beaten us with clubs or whatever they could have done, but no one was scared. No one was scared.
Well, this is going to end up being national news. I need everybody to email showtips@infowars.com, all your names, numbers. If you were assaulted, we're going to get lawyers. We're going to sue them. But we got to get the depositions, everything. We got to. I don't want to do it. Everybody upload the footage you got to YouTube of Homeland Security goons attack JFK demonstrators, because they were under Homeland Security. I mean, this federal government is so illegitimate, so evil. I just can't believe that I was literally, but they could also catch the moo, and everybody was ready to, like, okay, you push us now, we're now, I mean, what wimps? I mean, as soon as we're ready to fight them, then they leave. They literally just came out of nowhere to assault innocent people.
They took the barricades down. Move in on us.
Right.
They were like, head over this way. Who cares?
Anything else you want to add, Leanne? Darren McBreen, come here.
They did not like it when you told Homeland Security that they needed to groom the stool. They did not appreciate. That's what it was. They were like, "Oh, really?"
That is when that Homeland Security guy left. I was making jokes about the Queen of England, how somebody wipes her hind end, how we should have that in America. Yeah. And then literally, I was making jokes about we should, like, give our children as roast to them. There was the famous essayist in England that wrote about the Irish should just give their children up to be roasted and cooked. I forget, who was the famous guy? Jonathan Swift, A Modest Proposal. And people thought it was real. Like, yes, they should. They should eat their children. So I was doing a Jonathan Swift joke. I mean, this country is, I just can't. I'm actually dumbfounded right now. McBreen, how shocking was that for you?
Well, it was pathetic, and it was shocking. I think what shocked me the most was the anger. You see, a lot of these guys, they were seriously,
so much hate,
seriously angry at us, because I guess we are the enemy, you know.
And describe what you saw.
Well, you know, I saw it was chaos, but the one thing I witnessed, and I hope somebody got on a video. If you did, please send it to us. But there was a little girl on her daddy's shoulders. She started crying. And, you know, then her mom dragged her out of there once she got off her dad's shoulders. But that was very dramatic. And then when they came off the steps, you know, I thought they were going to fall, and she was going to fall. A lot of people were falling off the steps. They were very aggressive.
They were trying to make us fall down.
Absolutely, absolutely. Elbows, you know, I mean, these guys were incredibly aggressive, and we were not, you know, I mean, until, you know, there was a lot of bad language, I guess, after
There's
a while.
no jury that wouldn't find in our favor after they kept attacking us, and we'd have stomped the hell out of them.
Absolutely.
They grabbed me by the collar and said, "Don't resist, don't resist."
By the way, this is how 1776 stuff starts, guys. I mean, you think, okay, I guess you go ahead.
This is a wake-up call. Du wants to say something. Here we go.
Look, we need to get massive amounts of people to call the sheriff's office to complain, make lots of complaints. We need to get this guy out of office. That was despicable what he did to these people. We were doing nothing. They started to pull the barricades across, and I said, hey, go on me. I'm walking through the barricade. Hey, we could come this way, going over towards the grassy knoll. And then I hear David Knight, turn around, Rob, and I saw all you guys being attacked. And I ran right in there and started getting as much footage as I could, because that's the only safety we have is our cameras, and to get footage and to upload it and make this known. Oh, yeah, I had high def going the whole time. I mean, it's all there, and then after a while they started split screening and capturing it. But it is totally despicable what we saw there. And when I looked in that police chief's eyes, I said, "You ought to be ashamed of your men." He goes, "It wasn't me, it was the sheriff." And he's absolutely right. That's who it was. We need to go back and demand answers from this criminal. He's a criminal.
Well, listen, they knew who I was when they were looking at me like they wanted to attack me, and I suddenly was like, these are enemies. They were looking at me with hate and waiting for the order, and then they were looking around knowing because they knew what they were doing, and the guy punched me in the stomach before it all started, wanting me to, like, attack him or something. Let me tell you, you got to look into that unit. I guarantee you those cops are just filth. I mean, that was the absolute filth unit of the politicos, and I bet a phone call was made from those bleachers. You get those American scum out of there. I mean, it was amazing. Sir, did you see this happen?
I saw it. I was there, and good discipline on the crowd. Everybody maintained, good demeanor and respect. I mean, there were words spoken.
Well, by the second attack.
Yeah, but, by and large, everybody maintained their cool, but stayed strong, and I was really proud of the whole crowd.
What do you think was wrong with the sheriff's deputies, and why are they in command?
I have no idea. What I saw was just you and your area was just getting pushed back, and I just saw, like you said, in their eyes, they just, a lot of them, at least the center mass was in it to win it, and they were very serious, and I think they were looking for somebody to come back. And I think this whole thing would have turned out very, very bad if we hadn't have kept our cool.
Well, that was the issue. Because I've been in a lot of demonstrations with the cops. Goes, got to move you back, got to move you back, got to, you know, and they just start touching. And then if you don't, then they start pushing. This was bam, boom, knock everybody over, bust somebody's head open. And if they'd have hurt that little girl, they probably would have started shooting everybody and claiming we had guns or something. I mean, you know, just thinking they can cover it up, but they can't do that anymore. Josh, you're not on camera, but you're back there. What'd you think of this?
It was pretty insane. They kept slamming the shoulder mount into my face. Dude got that on camera.
Yeah, you do have a bruise there.
Yeah, they kept slamming it into my face when I repeatedly said, stop slamming the shoulder mount into my face.
And you were backing up?
Backing up, yeah. Well, I mean, there were people everywhere, and they just kept slamming into my face because they didn't like that we were capturing it on footage, on film.
Yeah, these people really should move to North Korea. I am shocked. And you know this is going to be a big issue now. And by the way, the Dallas police, and I'm not saying they're perfect, their mouths were hanging open. See, and I hadn't figured out what had happened yet. I mean... So those sheriff's deputies are federal minions, and they are God. And so now it's the feds. That's going to be a federal civil rights lawsuit right there. I can't believe this. By the way, we actually know how to sue people. We're not even litigious. Do you won your lawsuit?
Well, you know, I'll just say there's a settlement.
And tell them that story. The mainstream media, you're up there in Pittsburgh covering it. You're totally peaceful on a hilltop. And they go, you're not mainstream media. You're arrested. They took you to an army base.
Yeah, they used kettling tactics, pushing people up hills, and then they had cops coming from the top of the hill to grab people. And it was just an encirclement maneuver that they put on us. I can't do this with the relay. But it was totally despicable what they did there. And that was a case of there was a protest of 50 people protesting police brutality in Pittsburgh after the G20 in 2009 on September 29th. And there were 50 people in a park surrounded by 1,500 riot cops. And then more riot cops showed up, and it was total for 50 people protesting police brutality. What's the irony there? And then they just started arresting people. We were put in detention cells. And about weather like this, they brought us outside and made us sit in the rain for 6 hours.
We're out of time. We're going to come back into the next segment. We're reporting here live from this insanity, the death of liberty. Oh, man.
We're on the march. The empire.
Just a minute, I'll find out.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight. I'm here in Austin. Alex is in Dallas, and he's with a crowd of peaceful protesters who were just led into an area and then attacked by the sheriff's department under the leadership of Homeland Security, apparently. Alex?
Yeah, we now have reviewed videos during the break that folks shot. It was definitely the feds coming over with sheriff's deputies that are their federalized goons, and then they wanted us to fight back, basically. Now I understand, as I guess they had like some MO that if he punched me in the stomach, I would fight back or something. So I didn't do it. I didn't fall into their trap. I almost did the second time when they were chasing us around the corner, cussing at us and saying, we'll beat your ass and stuff. I was like, take off your badge. Take off your freaking uniform. I mean, I want to challenge those sheriff's deputies to an open, bare-knuckles boxing match. They can get the license. I will fight 2 of those guys. I'm serious, because normally I'm not that tough of a guy, but when a bunch of big guys try, I could stomp there. I would be able, I'm telling you, I fought 2 or 3 big guys at once before. That's when you really wake up. And I'm telling you, if they want to get an exhibition match, bare knuckles, I will get in there with one of those sheriff's deputies, and I will literally break their cheekbones and literally ram their nose off, okay? And the whole point is that I am not going to be their slave. I've never seen such cowards in my life when people are sitting around smiling, doing nothing, attacking us and trying to get people falling over each other. Some of the cops weren't doing it, but there was the middle group and others were trying to hurt people. And then some of the other cops were like, even a couple of the sheriff's deputies. All right, let's go over this. Anyways, folks, I have literally seen evil. I mean, that's all I can say, David Knight. And I'm not sitting there being Mr. Tough Guy. I'm being honest. I mean, it is a man having cowards in uniform attacking women and children and media people who've done nothing. At a fundamental level, all my instincts are, this is the enemy, this is the red coat, this is 1776. I mean, because it's different than just having some thug try to attack you in a parking lot. That's a criminal. It's organized evil is what we're facing and what we're dealing with, David Knight.
This was a live demonstration, Alex, of the spirit of the people who assassinated Kennedy. This is a live demonstration. You see the censorship followed by the thugs coming out and beating people. That's exactly what we're up against. That's what America is facing right now. And there's a story that came out yesterday. I'm sure you probably haven't seen it, Alex, because you've been busy with what's going on up there. But they had a British Army secret terror unit called the Military Reaction Force. And these guys are coming out and confessing on television that they shot dead innocent civilians. Yeah. The guy says, we were not there to act like an army unit. We were there to act like a terror group. We were there in a position to go after the IRA and kill them when we found them. And they talk about how they drive by and shoot people at barricades when they don't have any weapons. This is exactly like that movie, The Art of Killing, where you've got these cops, these people who are with the Indonesian government confessing to the mass murders that they had committed because they're proud of it. This is what this guy is saying. He says,
exactly, and our founding fathers knew that if we didn't have guns, we couldn't resist these guys, but we're all ready. And I would take all the special warfare people I know and all the good cops I know, one of them could defeat 10 of those thugs I saw. Though, I'm telling you right now, they had, and I don't want a civil war to start, but my God, I'm not going to be like in Indonesia where they just go round me up and start killing me.
Absolutely.
I realize right there that these people are the enemy of freedom. I mean, there is absolutely no doubt that the Dallas Sheriff's Department and the criminal unit, this tells you about the feds. They're trying to corrupt all the police, turn them into goons and Soviets, but they haven't been able to do it, and there's a big culture in the police fighting it. We need to be clear about that. There's a big culture waking up to that and against this. But the feds don't care. They literally had a group of low IQ, moron idiots who might not even be criminals in their everyday activity, but have a criminal mindset, who literally wanted to beat up other Americans.
Yes.
And do it in a way where they had guns and they had other cops to help them if they weren't going to win. That's the opposite of what a man wants to fight tyrants and thugs in overwhelming odds. A slimebag bully wants to fight people when they've got all the odds on their side.
That's exactly
graceful crap.
That's exactly what these guys were saying. These British terrorists, these soldiers, so-called soldiers, are saying the MRF soldiers said they agreed to be interviewed on this program because they believe their role in the fight against the IRA is unrecognized. Now they get their credit. Now they get credit for driving by and shooting people who are unarmed, people that they don't know are even members of the IRS.
I want to go further. I interviewed Steak Knife and others who were British commandos at the highest levels of the IRA, commanding them to carry out attacks.
Yeah.
And the low-level IRA didn't want to commit terror attacks, so they would kneecap or kill people that didn't. Now, I haven't seen this news story. Are the guys on TV bragging they killed innocent people?
Yes.
Or are they...
Yes,
wow.
They're bragging about it. They say we would just drive by and we would shoot them. They said that there were situations where they had groups of people at checkpoints. They say, oh, we think they're IRA. So they would just drive by and shoot everybody at the site. So you have this one guy, Patrick McVeigh. He was killed when he was 44 in 1972. You got a guy that was 18 at the time. He's had 40 years of pain. He survived. The other people that were at the standing around, they were just, they died. So this is the kind of spirit that we see happening here. It's what we saw in the movie. I called it The Art of Killing earlier. It was the act of killing. This is a spirit in these people where they just want to kill innocent people. They get a kick out of it, and they want to be recognized for it. They want to brag about it. That was what was so riveting and disgusting at the same time about that movie. I couldn't get my head around how somebody who did this stuff...
I felt physically ill after we watched that film together.
Yeah.
With the crew. I'm going to go out here and find out what this guy, he's been out here for days with an Israeli flag. Hey, what are you doing? What's your story?
Well, I thought they were going to shoot at us. I really did. I did.
So why the Israeli flag?
That's the best army in the world, is the IDF.
Well, it is a very strong, trained military. I was just curious. We're talking to different folks. What's your take on Kennedy and what happened?
Well, the CIA killed him. He wanted to bring back the gold standard. He was printing greenbacks. He spoke at Columbia University and said that he was going to take out the mafia and the drug gangs and all that stuff. So they shot him.
Yep, good points. All right, well, good to talk to you, sir. All right, there we go, folks. Well, listen, I know you're cold. You've done a great job. And where does everybody want to break up at here?
Your motel.
All right. Well, listen, God bless you. You're awesome. Send us your emails. Kit, go file your report. And I'm going to start walking back now. I'm going to get my crew in here in the car with me.
All people should stand up. All people should stand up. More people should stand up.
You know what? I'm going to tell Richard, who's got the car, I'm going to walk back to the hotel.
Is there anything going on tomorrow?
No, I don't think so. But I may get on the radio. Look at Infowars.com. I may I may go have a protest at the sheriff's department or something. I'm freaked out right now. I mean, well, I tell you, that was crazy. That's a good point. Here, tell, sir, I was talking to you. Tell us your first name and what you thought of what you saw.
My name is Devin. I saw a lot of things I didn't like. I saw that they're afraid of being exposed. I saw everything. I just saw that we need more people to stand up, more real men to stand up. All the tough guys, you're so tough. Be tough on this side of the battle. I saw the cops. They're crooked. I just saw everything I saw was just bad, man. We were trying to have a peaceful demonstration, but they were not peaceful. We were trying to have a peaceful demonstration, and I think it was just bad. I just think we need more people to stand up.
Well, that's what you were telling me earlier, is that you're sick of people just laying down. That's what...
Laying down, sleepwalking. Yeah, the sleepwalkers. We need somebody to wake up. America, if they do it to me, they're going to do it to you. If they've done it to me, they've already done it to you. I mean, hey, our young people, we need to wake up and see what they're trying to do in the future. They're trying to get this martial law stuff started. They're trying to put us all in FEMA camps. They want to cut our heads off. They're trying to control everything. I see it. They're waiting for that control. They want all your information, but they won't tell you theirs. They're keeping a lot of secrets. And it's time to come out. It's time to let
They're very guilty.
They're guilty. It's time to let the cat out the bag. Expose these wrong. Expose Satan. Expose it. It's time to stand up. All these preachers, all these ministers and stuff, y'all got to come from behind that. All that faking, they're just doing that for money. They need to come to the real battle, the real fight. You say you stand for Jesus and all this, well, come to the battle. Get involved. Get your congregation involved. It's just one little city right here, but hey, it's all across. They're doing it everywhere. You know what I'm saying? We just need people to stand up, man. I'm tired of people laying down, sleepwalking, cowards, everything. I'm very passionate about this. Somebody else should be very passionate about this. Yes, sir. This is the future, but for your kids and grandkids and everybody. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying wake up, get up, stop sleeping. We're under attack. Absolutely.
Yes, you said it. You said it. We're under attack. Wake up, everybody. Wake up, man. We're not going to do nothing laying down. If you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything.
That's right. Laying down only makes it worse. People think laying down makes it better.
All over you. If you lay down, it's going to walk all over you until you turn over. Now let me walk on your stomach. Now let me walk on your back. Now let me walk on your head. I mean, hey, when is enough is going to be.
And people ask why, because there's bad people that like walking on people.
I just want to say I'm 24 years old, and we got young people like this coming out. We got teenagers, and it's the young people that need to be awake and aware of the tyranny that's going on. And I came out here to commemorate the death of JFK and the tragedy that happened that day. And I'm commemorating you for your free speech. And that's what we're here for, is for free speech. As you said, you wouldn't be here for the 50th anniversary if they wouldn't have tried and embarked on our free speech.
Yeah.
Are you related to these folks right here?
You need to stop playing that PlayStation and get something right.
Hi, ma'am. Ma'am, did you see what happened?
I came from Minnesota.
Oh, God bless you. What's your first name?
Lisa.
What was it like for your son to see that?
He was enjoying it up until, with all the cops, and all of a sudden people started getting pushed, and I had to grab him and, and hold him up because people were really pushing.
Well, even though it was traumatic, this is what freedom's all about. You got a great mama to bring you down here, son.
Thank you.
What was it like to see that?
I was scared, actually. I was scared all about to fall down, actually. And I don't know what to say.
No, it's okay. But there were some of the policemen. You weren't scared of them. They weren't mean men. But what did you think when the other men came? Were they good men or bad men?
I think good men.
The men pushing us were good men?
No, I know.
No, the other police were good guys. But what did you think of the men that were pushing you?
Bad.
What do you want to say to them?
I don't know.
Well, hey, you have been out on the front lines of liberty, my friend, and that's almost extinct in this country. So God bless you.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.
Alex Jones, thank you for being here.
No, God bless you. Nobody thank me.
All these thugs with these
Y'all be safe on y'all's
all
travel.
these thugs, they got this Xbox and PlayStation, all these games. You're sitting up there being a thug playing these games. You need to get into the real fight about your freedom and your future. Everybody is doubting, oh, they can't do this, they can't do that. Okay, keep sitting back saying what they can't do. They're already doing it. You know what I'm saying? They just did it, you know. All these guys and people just wasting time and looking at all this other stuff on the internet. There's some real things you can look. It's not a conspiracy. It's the truth. It's not the truth. It's the truth when you can prove it. If you prove it, it's the truth.
Stop being a spectator.
Stop being a spectator.
Get in the
join in.
Get in the stadium.
Stand up, all you.
Get in the stadium.
Thugs, stand up. Y'all stand up.
Ma'am, what did you think about what you saw?
That was like the Twilight Zone. There was definitely a difference in energy between the blue and the black. When the black line came up, I thought, okay, that's cool, because you guys did not change your demeanor and your attitude.
They all looked angry and hateful.
Yeah, but I didn't suspect they would do anything because they were not being provoked. There was no provocation.
For those that just joined us, we're down here. It's a JFK coverage, 50th anniversary. We marched on it for First Amendment because the mayor said there was no free speech in Austin. In Dallas. I'm pretty tired, folks. Sorry. And then all of a sudden, we had this bizarro Homeland Security people over at the federal building bring over these sheriff's deputies who had removed their badge numbers off their Velcro, and then they attacked us, and they were like pinning people up against walls. One guy, who was the guy that I saw where they, because I was right behind the Native American fella, they shoved him real hard for no reason, ran him into another guy, and then that guy saw it and shoved him back into the other cop as an excuse to attack somebody. Where is that fella that they attacked? Come on over here. Tell us your name again. Chris?
Yes, sir.
So I saw that happen to you. You're not doing anything. You're walking backwards. They're shoving you faster than you can walk. And then they ram you into that other big, tall black cop, and then he turns around, sees it, and then shoves you back and then threatens you. This is just idiocy. You attack people, and then they fall over, and then you attack them again.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was really amazed that this was going on, and I saw the look in their eyes, as you said, and they were bent on crushing us if they could. And when he pushed me into another cop, who then shoved me from behind and spun me around, and literally I was like, whoa, what is going on here? And I asked him what his name was. His name was Officer Welch. He wouldn't give me his badge number. And
my whole issue is, though, their desire to crush us absolutely lit big fires of liberty in my heart. I have never been more absolutely dedicated now to redouble my efforts and get totally serious and focus my life in defense of liberty. And I salute all of you that came out here today. You're incredible. All right, come over here, brother.
For the Operation Paul Revere contest, I attempted to organize a march in Dallas the day before and on the anniversary in Austin, and I spent nearly 2 weeks.
I remember you called in and you were on Facebook.
For nearly 2 weeks, I tried to coordinate with multiple offices in the city of Dallas, and they did absolutely everything they could to keep me from doing my march. They told me things like I couldn't cross railways and other ludicrous excuses to not give me a permit to have a march.
See, we didn't get a permit.
No, sir.
That's why we don't. The permit is only to screw you over.
That's right.
You don't need a permit unless you're blocking streets. They only make you get it so they can deny it.
And whenever I was in the Capitol building for 5 days walking around, whenever I would talk about Infowars or Alex Jones, you should have seen the looks on those people's faces. Some of the senators, some of their people in the offices would just gasp and look at me like I'm a terrorist or I'm some bad man because...
Well, that's because they're criminals. They've taken over, and they want to loot everybody, and they're scared of people that know they're criminals.
And last night after the march, as I was going back to my truck, I had a Dallas police officer follow me, and whenever I was going to walk away, I was coming over here to the Omni Theater, to the Omni...
Well, that's because you're wearing a tri-corner hat. That's what the terrorists wear.
He called in multiple units, and they came in and were casing my vehicle, and I tried to ask him, because I saw that he was trying to do something. I went up to him, and I was in plain clothes. I'd already taken my outfit off. And I tried to ask him, sir, am I legally parked here? I was right at the edge of a no parking zone, and I was asking him, can I park here after...
I notice how we always say sir to them, and they just look at us. I don't think we should call them sir anymore when they act like thugs. We should call them control freaks.
You know what he said to me, Alex? I asked him, can I legally park here after dark? He said, did you pay for a meter? I was like, well, no, sir, there are no meters. And he said... Well, I'll let you figure that out. I'll let you think about it and figure it out. And I'm asking him, sir, I want to know if I'm breaking the law. And he would not give me an answer.
That's because you're American scum.
I saw him at the barrier, and I gave him eye contact, and he gave me a smug look, and I smiled real big at him, and he knew who I was.
He was one of the guys that attacked you.
He was actually an African-American cop with a beanie on. He had a little mustache, but after I smiled at him, he walked away and ran back to some of his superiors.
Man, what a weird culture. God, I don't want to live in North Korea, man. I'm here to tell you. I just throw some positivity. Well, the positive thing is we came down here and we took it over, and they're mad.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I woke up about 2 years ago, and since then, like, if you're consistent with Facebook, Twitter, constantly talking about the establishment and, you know, the wrongdoings that these cops are doing every day to our civil liberties, people are waking up. Like,
We're going to break. We'll come back to you on the other side. Live from Dallas, Police State America. Stay with us. In the last 50...
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. It's 2:54 p.m. Central Time, and we're still live. Alex is in Dallas, and if you're just joining us, the Dallas police allowed Alex and other protesters into the area that they had cordoned off, and then the sheriff's department came out and unprovoked and without warning attacked Alex and the other demonstrators there. And Alex is still talking to the demonstrators, and they're sharing their stories. Alex, back to you.
That's right. And just to get it clear, we're here in Dallas, Texas. About 250 people showed up this morning. It's probably about 40 people now out here freezing. It's gotten colder. And to be clear, COPA and other groups were filing a lawsuit. And the judge said, look, Mayor, you can't not let people hand out flyers. You can't let them not have signs. You can say during the service, no bullhorns within that area. And but bye guys. But when the service is over, you are to let them into the general area, but not into the actual center of Dealey. And then at 2:30, they're going to let people in there for their own ceremony, whoever wants to come in. Because you have to give the public access to public areas. The Dallas police were like, oh, yeah, we do know about that. Let us make some calls. Took them 30 minutes. They had it looked like the high-level police, not even the police chief. Point is, they were all out there making phone calls. Everybody's running around. In fact, pull up the Dallas police chief for me. I don't know what he looks like. I think they were calling him chief. And they go, yeah, go on in. That's fine. You're right. So we go in. We're over there bullhorning, joking. Oh, it's kind of cold. You ready to go? Yeah, I don't want to wait till they let us in at 2:30 through the second checkpoint. We're sitting there being real friendly, talking to the cops and everything. But they still look freaked out, some of them. And then all of a sudden, there was a Homeland Security guy comes over. He's giving them orders, saying stuff. We're not on federal property. We're right off the edge of it. They make jokes. The federal building's next door. And then the witnesses, multiple witnesses saw it. They go over, line up these sheriff's deputies in black uniforms, obviously the goon squad, like, a bunch of big cops. And they have them run over all like they're about to get in a fight. Like a pirate ship was pulling up. And everybody goes, ooh, what's this? I go, they're friendly. Everything's fine. They probably just don't know that we're supposed to be in here now. Guy walks over like he wants to attack me, gives me this criminal look. Every instinct in me says, man, this is the enemy of my family. This is what endangers my children. This is what I need to fight. This is evil. Just like in other types of your life, a criminal walks around about to mug you, go, that's a criminal. They have that look. This was a Satanist. This was scum. This was an enemy of everybody good. And my whole soul, and the guy punched me in the stomach, and then they started the whole deal. And he didn't push me. He like, knowing people are looking around, looks around like, what's that? Pow, hits me in the stomach. Then they start shoving people over, wanting to hurt people, wanting to get people hurt, not letting people, go. And then we went around the corner, and then they ran back up wanting a fight. And suddenly the crowd, I could feel the crowd. We were about to attack. I actually got up front, and I said, all right, that's it. And I was handing the microphone, and then they clicked and stopped and backed off. Like the minute they realized, because they would probably have shot a bunch of us, too. And these are terrorists. I mean, these are people that have got to be in control. They're mentally ill. They're control freaks, and it was totally sick. And I just couldn't have men attacking folks with children and women. I just couldn't put up with it. I mean, it was incredible to see the criminality. Do you have any comments on what you saw?
When I come up on a group of police, and they was talking about back and forth saying, well, we don't really know what to do. We've never got any real instructions on what to do in this situation. I mean, and so one cop.
The deputy police chief let us in. It's in the newspaper we're supposed to be in here. Or maybe the chief. I don't know what he looks like.
They just said, we're going to go ahead and step aside and let them do their thing. And then they all stepped aside, and then everybody came on in. And I was just blown away.
And then we were just standing there doing nothing, doing a broadcast. And they just flipped out on us. I mean, this is the mental illness of government. Anything else, ma'am?
Yeah, and I actually talked to not the chief, but the lieutenant under the chief, and he was on his cell phone talking about, because I was handing out Oath Keeper cards, And he says, yeah, as long as he's not on his bullhorn while the screen is going on, we're all good. You guys are being peaceful.
Then that was after. And then after the bullhorn thing was, hold on, we're going to go into overdrive here in just a moment. They got to go to break. We're coming back, ladies and gentlemen, 104.1 in Dallas. We're live. We're thought criminals who think we can assemble in America. Imagine the evil of it. And then they have taught us a lesson.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good back on air here. Great job, everybody. We're now commercial free. And, man, I tell you, all right, folks, we are back live here, now commercial free, transmitting worldwide over the internet. We're no longer on the AM and FM stations, but we're on the internet. And I tell you, one instinct tells me leave Dallas now. The other instinct tells me try to organize a bunch of people to go to the sheriff's department. I mean, we need to go, not be lazy, and find out the names, the info, and I got so much going on, so much work to do, but I got to sue them for this. I mean, because if I don't, they think they want it. I told that cop I'm going to sue him, that sheriff's deputy, who was a total screwball and who wanted to physically attack everybody and who wanted us to fight back so they could really hurt us. They probably told him, you all get bonuses if you go down there and get that dumb Jones out of there, that filth, thinks he can steal on the street. We're going to make this whole place like China, like Tiananmen Square, where you can't demonstrate anywhere. Filthy Americans. Going to deal with, we're running everything. You got a narcotics trafficking, money laundering, murdering government with big mega banks laundering hundreds of billions of drug money a year. Absolutely, totally on record. And it just gets more and more insane by the minute. And I was so happy that it was all basically over and I could go take a hot shower and eat some food and everything else. And then no. Then they had to come do that. Absolutely insane. Hey, we ought to go back down to Dealey Plaza now. I'm kind of cold, but I bet it's open now. I mean, absolutely insane, ladies and gentlemen. David Knight, you're in there. Why don't you take over for a few minutes while I walk here?
We know what we're seeing here is the importance of the press. And let's go back to some words from JFK, because this is what is happening today. It's the 50th anniversary of their assassination of JFK. And 2.5 years before he was killed, shortly after he took office, he had this to say to the American Newspaper Publishers Association, same people that would just roll over and lay down after he was killed. He said, our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse or entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers, we just saw the dangers there, and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion. And if you're not angry about what you just saw happen on live TV, there's something wrong with you. Made me very angry. And I know the people that are there with Alex are very angry about what was done to them by the sheriff's goons under the direction, apparently, of Homeland Security.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt it was Homeland Security. Now we have put all the pieces together. Homeland Security literally decided they didn't like the Dallas Police Department's decision to follow the lawsuit and the judge that we were to be let in after the thing. Again, we weren't even in Dealey Plaza yet. It was through the first checkpoint. So they decided to countermand. This is about a 95%, 90% chance, because we've got all the pieces, and we talked to police on and off record. We're actually pretty freaked out. I was kind of yelling at the Dallas cops, and they were like really freaked out, going, "We didn't do this." But the whole point is that the feds countermanded that and just ordered a group of idiots, I guess, to try to get in a fight with us or something. And I'm glad I didn't do anything. But man, God, I just can't. Running into people like that it really freaks you out, and it really makes me where I'm just got to tell America, folks, you got to get firearms, you got to get trained how to use them, and you got to fight politically to try to fix everything as best we can. But in the final equation, you know, I got to really quote Malcolm X that in the final equation, I'm not going to a FEMA camp. I'm not a slave, and any means necessary in defense of liberty. I'm telling you right there, I'm not letting guys like that come to my house and take me to some FEMA camp where they can rape me and torture me and hurt my family. I mean, I'm not. I mean, and let me tell you, folks, that's where this country's going. Nobody denies it. It is authoritarian. It is time to get armed and get trained and get ready. Because I'm telling you, they got criminal units that hate America and that hate freedom and that hate decency and who are just foaming at the mouth scum.
Alex,
who those people are my enemy. That's all I can say. All my instincts, everything. I have seen the enemy, ladies and gentlemen. It isn't in Russia. It isn't in China. It's right here. It's taken over, and it's crazy, and it's mentally ill. That doesn't mean all the police, folks, but the police better everywhere, I don't know, wear a sticker or something on their armband or something that they're with America, or a George Washington pin or something, and act with respect towards citizens that they want respect back. Because we didn't do anything. We were very nice for most crowds. I'd put us in the top 10% of a friendly crowd, and we were treated pretty good by the Dallas police, and everything was fine. And then we ran into these mad dog lunatics, and I tell you, I've got to sue them. And it's not a threat. I don't want to sue those idiots. I don't need their money, taxpayer money. They'll just write old ladies and broke moms more tickets. I am absolutely flabbergasted and mind blown by the goonishness. You can look at the cops' eyes. Like, most of these cops weren't goons, but some of the Dallas cops have that crazy look in their eye like they're trying to intimidate you. And it's just, like, ridiculous that they weren't tough when they were kids or something. I mean, I don't claim to be the toughest guy in the world, but I grew up here in Dallas, and I've been in the hospital probably 6-7 times from, like, really brutal fights. And, I'm not glad of some of the things I did defending myself, but as a man, I don't want to go around starting fights with people all day. I just don't understand it. And it's so unnatural to not be able to fight a bunch of cowards that are ganged up on you. It's just absolutely fundamental what I just saw, and absolutely blew my mind that they acted like that. And now look, it's now open. We're back here like an hour later, and the streets are all open. Everything's completely open like it was supposed to be. There was and they just did this to us all because they felt like it. All because they just wanted to attack us for no reason. It was completely insane. Hey, how you doing, guys? Hi, what's your name? Listen. Pardon me? Charlie. Hey, I'm Alex Jones. Listen, I don't mean to bug you here, but we had some sheriff's deputies assault us earlier right here. I'm sure you've heard about it. And okay, where do we so is the sheriff's department in charge down here? No, I understand. But we were assaulted. I mean, if I saw a mugging, if I came and told you, would you do anything?
We're trying to do this here.
But since I'm mentioning sheriff's deputies assaulting us, it doesn't even matter? Okay, where do I file that?
You can go to the sheriff's department, and they have their...
So I go to them. No, they did this in Dallas.
I understand what you're saying.
And I'm not going to go to their internal affairs. It's law they have to file a criminal complaint.
No, you have to go through the process and go through their internal affairs, okay?
Nope, that's not how it works. See, that's the big trick with cops. They go, you just go to us. No, what you do is you go to the grand jury. But first, for everybody listening in Dallas, you go, and then you try to file the criminal complaint that you were assaulted. They refuse it. Then they become parties to the criminal complaint. And then you saw that woman's imperious attitude when we're like, hi, we were assaulted by sheriff's deputies here. We'd like to file a report on that. She goes, you go to them. So Hitler should have been the judge at Nuremberg over him. Hitler should have been the head judge over the Nazis, judging them. Did you hear about all the craziness? Oh, wow. Well, hi, ma'am, what did you think about what you saw? We'll just leave it at that.
I thought that it was a very sad day that the police, or rather the sheriff's office, would openly be so aggressive when really we're just enacting our First Amendment rights. And, for instance, I, who am incredibly not aggressive, was just walking along, and the sheriffs, I would say 3 different sheriffs, came up and they, may I demonstrate on you? They went like this. You have to look down. They literally just went, like that. And I said, hey, don't push me. And they said, keep moving. And I said, I am moving. And they said, turn around. And I was like going, well, I you know, I'm walking, I'm moving, and then again, separate, two other ones push me like that. I'm sorry, I keep shoving him. And it just seemed to me like, why would you be so aggressive? Why can't you just say, okay, everyone, you know, would you mind just going over here? Excellent on your First Amendment rights. How about you stand over there? Because we've been told by Homeland Security or whoever told them that you can't be here. Like, why can't they be truthful? Why can't they be polite? Why can't they just be calm? Why do they have to be aggressive? I mean, I was doing nothing. And in fact, when everyone was shouting and going crazy, I mean, to be honest with you, with all love and respect, I also felt that it's wrong to shout at the police, you slaves, you scumbags, or because I feel, honestly, I feel sorry for them because I can't believe that all of them are just dead in the head. I just can't believe that.
Sure, well, let's recap from what you saw being here today for the last 2-3 hours then. We come over, it's over. There's been lawsuits filed. They had to let us in. The Dallas police said, yes, you're allowed to go in to the first perimeter, not into the final one. Then that was open for a private wreath laying for folks that don't agree with the official story. So we were supposed to be let in. They let us in. The Dallas police did. And then Homeland Security sent over their auxiliary federalized sheriff's deputies. Well, that's what happened there. Did you notice how they came in and ordered the other cops to stand back?
You know, I wasn't looking at that. I was actually looking at each police with my sign, with my First Amendment. And I was just trying to gently smile at them, like going, hey, this is for you too, you know. This is for everyone that you love and care about, and you too, because there isn't a police state that's ever been on this planet where everyone didn't get their ass burnt when it really got going. I mean, Hitler's regime, all the original people that were in the government or helping him, you know, in Russia, Stalin, his mates that helped him get it. I mean, you know, you think they might learn that it doesn't actually work. Tyranny just begets more tyranny until everyone's just shooting and killing each other and it's a terrible mess. And then, thank God, it ends. And I personally, I'm just desperate for the things that are beautiful and wonderful and exalted about the American people. It should reign in this country again instead of the incredibly obvious criminality that's going on here. I mean, it's like, you know, you'd have to be deaf, dumb, and blind to not see what's happening. So I'm just really proud of everyone here. I don't agree that all the police are slaves. I think that they're under incredible pressure to behave.
Peer pressure.
Yeah, to behave in a way where I believe that at a certain point they're going to stop behaving that way. And I don't know what'll happen then. I guess the National Guard or some other lunatics will come in and kick our heads in. But, I mean, you know, okay, bring it on. But the change must come. And I'm praying for it.
Sure, you know, I'm not looking for physical stuff. I want them to be free and happy. But, I mean, I got punched in the stomach first. And so they was all targeted by Homeland Security. Now that I'm not emotional, then I gave in and let them be mean to me and shove some guy's head over and over again into that and punch some person and almost knock a little girl into the ground. But then they chased us around past the barricades and attacked us again.
No, but that's the thing is that why do it? They're supposed to be peace officers, not guys being intimidating, pushing a woman who is doing nothing but doing what they're saying, shoving me in a way that if I was in a bar and I was 6'2" and a man, I'd probably get in a fight. It's like, it's ridiculous. I know. Sorry, what? Yeah, I know, but this is the big deal. When do you actually take on your own ability to think for yourself, even if you're in a position where you're supposed to take orders? When's that point arrive? And that's the point that these police officers need to get to, which is why I feel sad when you guys scream at them, you slaves, you fuckers, you bastards. You know, it's like, I just wish that actually, seriously, I mean, I thought about doing it and then I got shy, but I just felt like saying, listen, I don't know what you're thinking, but please stand up for what's right. They surely know what that is. We're just talking about First Amendment stuff.
Well, by the way, the Dallas police, when they came over, were like, what are you doing? They told them to let them in. And the point was that was ordered by the feds, yeah.
That's just crazy.
Federal building's right there.
Crazy. Well, anyway, listen.
Here's the top police. Here, hold on. I'm going to go talk to them. No, stay here. I didn't say you. No, just stay there. I'm going to talk to you some more. Hold on. I'm going to go talk to him right here. Hey, just the guys I want to talk to. Sir, what's your name? Where do I file about the sheriff's department that was here? Oh, come on, you can talk to it. Because we can't go. So the sheriff's department's in charge here because they assaulted us when the Dallas police let us in. We were supposed to be let in, as you know, sir. Oh, come on, you can talk to. Don't defend them. You're not ignoring us because we're
in private property.
Silence is complicity.
Oh, private property. What is this, city property? Well, you're on private property. The imperious nature. I don't know who that guy is. Private property. The Dallas Police Department is private property.
Can you hear me, Alex?
Masters.
Can you hear me, Alex?
Yes, David Knight.
I got to say, when I'm watching this on television, one of the things that has really been making me angry all day is the attitude we just saw from that cop you tried to talk to. And this is going on yesterday as well. You walk up to them, you ask them a polite question, they just ignore you like you're not even there, like you're treating you like you're trash.
Exactly.
It's that kind of arrogant attitude, and that's what's behind all this stuff. That's what we've been seeing. I'm not surprised at all to see these guys come out and attack you. They don't treat you with any respect. They have no respect for the public.
I agree. Finishing up your point, I'm sorry I broke that off when they walked by. David Knight, my co-host, was just pointing out the imperious nature. I was very polite. I wanted to say I was assaulted, and he literally knew about it because I saw him looking at us out the window all day and pointing at me and waving when he was up there. That same police officer, the guy with 2 stars on his thing, means he rules a third world country. But the point. No, I know. He used disinfo. He said public parking just to get me to leave him alone, like I wasn't allowed to be there, and then shoved my hand away.
Alex.
Sure.
Why do you think they are frightened of talking to you? Because that's clearly what that is. That's fear, inhibition, unwillingness to communicate. What's that about? Why are they? I mean, maybe that's not a question you can answer, but...
No, I know why. Because they're in such a controlled culture of compartmentalization and being dominated. They just are in a position where they can dominate people under them. They get dominated from above. It's all hierarchical. And
right, but imagine that you say to him, could you explain to us why the following, whatever your question might be. Why can't he stand there? He is a public servant. He is a peace officer, right? A peace officer? A servant of the public. Why can't he communicate with you?
That's because they've put military occupation rules in where no one's allowed to talk but the public spokespeople, so it dehumanizes them. Just like they tell soldiers now, even when you're off duty in civilian clothes, don't be political, don't say what you believe in if you're against the war. Even though as a citizen the law says you're allowed to, they intimidate.
Freedom of speech, even for them. What's
That's right.
That?
Well, here, tell us.
Well, no, I mean, I just, why don't the police have freedom of speech? Why can't they offer their opinion? They're individuals. They have individual rights. Why should they be dominated by hierarchical instruction? Now that, to my mind, if they're peace officers, if they're public servants and citizens, they should be permitted to give their opinion. So who is it that's forbidding them to speak? Honestly, I just think that they're frightened to speak, probably because of what you were saying, that they have just an incredible peer pressure on them, or more like an officer ranking pressure, where they are told you are not allowed to talk about this. I don't see why they shouldn't. They're citizens. They have every right to speak. Their police, as individuals, should not be shut up. Why should they?
Well, I mean, you talked about throughout history what happens to countries when these police states come in tyrannies. It just gets worse and worse. In fact, I'm going to steal that quote. Tyranny begets tyranny. I'll give you credit if you want me to, but or I'll sit there and take the credit and say I came up with it. I'm joking. But the point is that tyranny begets tyranny.
And then it just spins out of control. Thank fucking God. Excuse my expression. Because then otherwise we'd be just under permanent tyranny. But tyrannies always end, not before there isn't a great deal of suffering. And I'm just hoping that through technology, the internet, the incredible, wonderful good work that you guys do, and other, independent newscasters and individuals who talk about this and try and do things on a very grassroots level, I'm really hoping we can circumvent what seems to be almost a turnkey totalitarian state that we are just, doesn't Obama just have to call martial law and then that's it?
Well, he's already doing most stuff by executive order outside of Congress, and they've put in the internet kill switch, the total surveillance grid. They call the spy systems they've put in the battle grid. What's it called, David? You were reading it today? The battle grid, that particular spy system that the police use, yeah, it's the battle grid.
It's called the BattleNet Inside.
BattleNet, yeah. And it's battle with us. It's not battle with criminals. They all skim the money off the top of that. I mean, it is just incredible. I got to say, Austin police are not anywhere as arrogant as these guys. And Dallas police aren't as bad as a lot I've seen. But, man, I tell you, Dallas citizens need to start acting like humans around the police because it's really gone to their head. I mean, a lot of these cops, some of them I can tell are listeners and wave at me and stuff, but some of them are serious mental patients. Can you imagine just walking around only on a uniform feeling powerful because you're part of a power structure?
Well, I think, unconsciousness is something people really need to understand. I think, people assume that everyone is fully in their own skull and present and attending life, but I think a lot of people are so profoundly disengaged, so out of communication, that they really just fall beneath a certain level of awareness, so that I don't think they're capable of actually seeing what's going on around them and making a choice for themselves that they should do a certain thing. In other words, a good thing. So anyway, that's my own.
And we were here an hour ago being attacked, and here we are now, it's all opened up. But they were supposed to open it up, and then they were just waiting for a call, even though it had already all been decided. We were following what was agreed upon. One of the head cops called and goes, yeah, that's true, let him in. And then the Homeland Security, the federal building, the same federal government taken over 50 years ago today, they literally ordered auxiliary police for special unit over to attack us and tried to start a fight, but they failed, and now the info is going out. In closing, asking you questions here, ma'am, talking to the folks that are out here, what is your overall view of the state of the world, the whole world government, the whole cybernetic systems, the whole technocracy? It is a turnkey takeover. What do you think the end game of the rulers are? Because everything I see them doing is trying to suppress human consciousness and awakening because they know there's an awakening happening, in my view. What's your take on that?
Well, actually, it just makes me think of There Will Be Blood. Did you ever see that film?
Excellent film.
Right. I can't remember the director's name. Say John Paul Johnson something. Yeah, brilliant. I think that one has to understand that anyone that's attracted to that level of power, I think, is already in a kind of diseased state. Very few people would ever want to get to that level of domination, power, and to get to that place, you have to do a lot of really, I think, pretty bad things. So once those people get there, and once they get that kind of power, I think that that's what you're looking at is insanity. You're just looking at individuals who are insane and so mangled in their souls that they actually have no love or appreciation for the rest of humanity. And I think that is what's happening on this planet, that those individuals have gotten to that level of power, and I think they, keep on going, like the Rockefellers. I don't know how they manage to keep, spawning more evil creatures, but they do, and up they stay and sit on all of us, and it's repeated itself so many times throughout history. It's just now technology has given them a kind of an omnipotence that is terrifying, and that's why laws do have to be put in place. And when people say, like in England, they say, well, as long as you're behaving yourself, you've got nothing to worry about, but they don't understand that's such a simplistic viewpoint, because the very people that are protecting both intellectual, domains, artistic domains, are the first ones who are going to fall victims to that system. Yeah, of course, if you're just, running a shop, and you're minding your own business, no one's going to come get you. But the people that really keep society moving, keep art free, and really expressing what needs to be expressed, they're the first ones to get it in the back of the neck. And it's not in the kind of obvious way that it used to be, where you just get poisoned, stabbed, or whatever. You get sort of like intimidated, or you get dropped out of a circle of artists that would have otherwise been, backed with money, or you won't get spoken about in the newspaper. I mean, it's a very subtle way of just eliminating you from the scene. But when you have those monitoring systems that we, like the NSA, thank God for Edward Snowden. Bless his heart. Jesus. I mean, I can't imagine the embarrassment. Oh, that was the other thing. How about Obama putting, what's his name? James, what's his face? The head of the NSA?
Oh, absolutely. James Clapper.
Right. In charge of the independent committee that's going to investigate the NSA.
That's like having Hitler over Nuremberg, but expanding on those key points you're making, because you're really on target with that. The bad guys want all the intel so you can't expose their criminal operations, and they use the intel on you, like Google sells the data it's come out to all the shops online, so that when you go to a shop, they know you have more money. The cookie shows it, the prices are higher. Like, I could do that with my shopping cart. I could buy that data, that metadata they call it, from Google, that cookie data, and then when they come to the Infowars.com shop, it would have a higher price. No, I'm serious. That's one example of what the Panopticon technology can do.
What did you say, Panopticon?
It's a French term, for the around prison, and then they would have a tower where the guards could always watch you. Panopticon, panopticonic.
Oh, well, I think the crucial thing is that we have to, as individuals, really, really support the Constitution, because that is the most unique. Nowhere else has it, really. I think maybe different countries are calling it. It's the most unique declaration of real spiritual rights. And it is a spiritual thing. I mean, how many of us, have different opinions? But the bottom line is that real independence, freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, with a great regard to helping and being of service. Because I don't think, people should just feel free that they can just go around and clock people on the head and go, yeah, well, I'm free. I'm going to clock people on the head.
No, it's libertarian. You're free to do everything you want until it hurts somebody else or crosses onto there. But, I mean, this is like Clockwork Orange, though, because they are hiring the criminals to be the police now. What we saw today, not all of them, but that key group at the middle that attacked first, I mean, that was definitely like Ben Grimm or whatever his name is.
I have to tell you, I just felt really sad when I saw them turn up. I just thought, really? It's going to come to this? We're talking about the First Amendment? Actually, I want to just say, there was a New Zealand TV lady that was there yesterday, and I stood behind her with my sign with the First Amendment. She said, don't stand there, you're blocking everything. And I said, well, I'm just stand back here. And anyway, we got into a little thing over it, and she didn't want me to be in the picture with her. And she said, look, I'm not having some lunatic stand behind me with a sign. I said, lunatic? I said, I'm defending the First Amendment. It's like the assumption that to be out here expressing yourself is an act of lunacy. I would say that's a pretty good indication of how totally distorted reality has become for the people who are supposed to be defending truth, right? Reporters.
Sure, it absolutely shows. It shows how far we've gone. But the problem is I know I got to get it so close because it's set. I know. I'm so tired now I can hardly walk. Anyways, any other final points you'd like to make? Because those are really a lot of thought-provoking things you're saying. I believe there's an awakening happening. I see it. The system's scared, and so that's why they are really trying to suppress us. And it's just more key than ever that everybody start resisting in little ways, lovingly, but also aggressively when we have to, so that there's no way they can stop all of us. It's essential to stop the evil from totally taking over, because you can see it's trying to take over because it can see the end is near.
Yeah, I think the important thing that you're outlining here is that people have to learn how to confront evil and not to alter it or to lessen it and to somehow, go, well, I'm sure they didn't mean to push you. It's like, well, you need to face, you need to confront and really properly look at what's happening and not try and explain it away or give it justifications or anything, because at this juncture we still, by our fingernails, have the chance to make a difference and turn this around, and to not take part and to just watch. It's a little scary, believe me. I was a little scared when those sheriffs turned up, but if you don't stand there and push back, not in a stupid, aggressive way, but if you don't push back, if you don't face it and confront it for what it is, it'll just take over, and then no one will be free.
Well, you're right, and the power structure's made the calculation that we're cowards, we've given up, we're going to roll over. They do stuff like that so people don't come out and demonstrate against wars. What happened at the G20? They do that so people see people being attacked, they get scared, so that they can then take over everybody's freedom. That's why you've got to go out and do this and face the fear and get through it. It's actually kind of fun to fight tyranny, so why not? So that they understand that they've miscalculated and that it's going to backfire. But tyrants always miscalculate. Even though they have this mind of God, Google, NSA spy grid, they're not gods. They can't they can't read that info because they're so evil. How could they, who are so unenlightened, ever think that they could read all the data they're getting? Because the data only shows that their system's already failing.
I would just like to add that I think to describe it as evil is to give it certainly an adjective to describe it. It certainly results in evil. But I think the important thing is it's an incredible degree of insanity, because only insanity would breed acts that are so destructive and harmful. And, you know, when you think of the destruction of the animals and the environment and the corporations that just seem to gaily, you know, stride forward through every decade, destroying everything.
Why aren't they even worried about Fukushima now when it's melting down even worse? They don't even care anymore. 91% of the reactors are leaking.
Insanity. Look, if you're really insane, you have no grasp or care for what's going on. And I think that's what this is. It's like organized insanity. And I think people need to recognize that and realize there's a lot more sane people. I would say there's probably about, you know, billions of sane people on this planet, and just a very few nutters. And it's those nutters that have to be regulated, because obviously one can't just sort of like blow them off the face of the earth, which, you know, I wish a couple of angelic beings would come along and go, "Ooh, you're really crazy, right? Off the planet you go." But
those bad guys are here to test us.
I've no idea, but what I would really like is regulations and laws, because those work pretty well. Right now, we've had those laws and rights in the Constitution blown away by the, you know, Patriot Act.
That's right. They've gotten rid of the good laws and put in all the tyranny.
Right, and I think that we've got to try really hard and pay attention and spend an hour maybe every day looking online and, here, let me help you. And actually, you know, do your research.
You know what you're doing with that equipment.
I do, but that was just a cable. Anyway, I just really implore people to really just pull their finger out and do a little bit of work. That's your job now. You know, it's a new job. It's not enough to be a citizen, because there's too much organization to dismantle your position as a citizen. You have to do something different now. What?
Oh, that's key. They're trying to dismantle our real citizenship and our machinery of freedom. And so what do?
I think we actually have to take on, and this is the hard part, everyone, you're going to have to operate using your own awareness, your own, you have to think for yourself, and you have to dig down deep into your soul and work up enough courage to do things about it. Even if it's just you sign some petitions, you listen to Alex, you know, for instance, The Guardian. What's his face? Granwell. I mean, that guy.
They may arrest him when he gets back to the U.S.
I don't know what to say other than it's just so insane.
Everybody should be rallying around him.
Yes, absolutely. Edward Snowden, I love you. I think you're an incredibly brave man, and anyone who says that you aren't patriotic, well, you're not thinking for yourself if you say he's not patriotic, because he's actually... Look, the German government, right? They've all issued themselves encrypted cell phones now. Even they're bloody pissed off at being monitored.
Well, that's the thing. You get rid of checks and balances and freedom, it always blows back. The tyrants, you don't escape it. You've got to give everybody a respect and liberty and freedom, so your kids have it too. When someone robs your neighbor's freedom, they're robbing your freedom. Do you want to remain anonymous or say your first name?
I would say actually, I already got interviewed a few times. My name is Vivian Kubrick. My father was Stanley Kubrick. I live here in Dallas. And I think I have enough experience from that aspect of being Stanley Kubrick's daughter to know that there are really some things that you have to fight very hard for. And my father's an artist, fought very hard for the integrity of his films, because even he was subject to a lot of pressure to not make the films he made.
You were talking about some of that last night over dinner, but that's why, I mean, I know you've been interviewed before by the media. You're obviously a famous filmmaker in your own right, and I love that score that you did on Full Metal Jacket. That's my favorite ever. That's so haunting. But I didn't want to, you know, politically, I was going to put this out. Folks would have recognized who you were, but yeah, greatest directors ever, daughter, director on her own right, doing an amazing job. What would your dad, I know you're taking that question, but I'd love to know, what would your dad with his great artist mind to see real reality, what would he think about what America's turned into? Because his films predicted it.
Well, I was saying to you last night, I feel that my father was very haunted by those factions on this planet that try to manipulate humanity. I think the films that he made, he wanted people to think for themselves, experience for themselves, whatever it meant to them. But I would say that if you look at every film he made, it certainly addressed all these things that we're speaking about. I mean, Clockwork Orange, thought control, you know, anti-war films, the fact that war is just pure slaughter, that it's got nothing to do with any of the usual things that they send people out.
Dr. Strangelove.
Yellow. Yes, Doctor Strange.
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, and really when you look at it, those films all... Anyway, I think the important part is that everyone, regardless of your position, regardless of whether everyone that you know thinks you're a complete extremist or lunatic, the fact is that when you start to think for yourself, it'll be easy to know what the right thing to do is. If you follow what you're being spoon-fed, well, you're not going to help.
You're just being programmed then. You're not even conscious. You're just like a robot of the system. But when you start thinking for yourself, your whole mind opens up.
And more to the point, to act on that. I mean, believe me, I'm not looking forward to people ridiculing me or having a go at me. And in fact, even today, when we were standing peaceably with that, where were we? When we weren't allowed to do the bullhorn. Where was that? I don't know. Anyway, there was this big dude, and he literally, I mean, he was just watching the thing, and he just went boom like that. And it was like, fuck. Excuse me. Yeah, it's like, oh, you know, don't push me. Yeah, it was just so rude, but he seemed to hate me for holding that sign up. And it's like, oh my God, this is the First Amendment. Don't you want to know what happened to Jay?
Well, that's it. They're mad because they know they're cowards, and they know the ones that get mad at you at least are a little bit conscious because it makes them feel bad what you're doing. You're freezing to death. Are you guys done? I think we've done a great job. Yeah, this is the last little crowd here with us. Amazing. All right. Well, that's it, folks. You're doing a great job. Hey, you guys want to go down to that deli down there if it's open and get a cup of tea? Yes. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. By the way, you guys stayed here the longest. If it's open, if not, I'll take you to the hotel. Food's on me. All right. Yeah, how do you like that, Dallas? How do you like that establishment listing on 104.1? Stanley Kubrick's daughter, huge filmmaker in her own right, here standing against your evil. We have the brains, we have the guts, we have the spirit. All you have is the New World Order and tyranny and death. And so just keep being arrogant. Keep doing all of it. You have no idea. I think I just... Anyways, the whole point is I'm on the radio so much I forget when I'm on the radio, just like babbling incessantly. But, well, I tell you, that was amazing. I hope this place is open. I'm so hungry. Oh, they're closed. Where's the nearest restaurant? Oh, I don't want a Subway. God. Well, I'm going to go broke, but since I said I'd do it, I'll do it. I'm going to do it. I'm taking you all to the hotel, and but just don't say where we're going, even though we're videotaping it live on air. I'll take everybody to the hotel and buy you something to eat. But we're going to cut the transmission off now and not say where we're going. So, okay, here we go. You guys want to go over and get something to eat? Okay, here we go. We're going to walk because the other place is closed. We'll have to walk to our hotel, and our hotel is the Hotel Lawrence. That's where we'll be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. David Knight, you take us out here. Great job, brother. Legendary radio. We're alive and following our forefathers and mothers' steps of liberty. And I've never felt so alive as I do today. And I have seen the face of tyranny, and I saw it, and it's ugly, and it's also very defeatable and very stupid. And so God bless you all. And David Knight, closing comments.
Very insightful comments from the daughter of Stanley Kubrick. And, you know, I think what we saw today is exactly what people remember about the JFK assassination. That's just the mindless brutality of it, the mindless lies that we were told. And as I'm watching this, I'm actually thinking, you mentioned Clockwork Orange. I didn't know it was Stanley Kubrick's daughter, but I'm thinking about that movie, and I'm thinking about the criminals that, as the main protagonist, I guess you'd call him, got out of jail. He comes back and he sees these guys are now cops, and they get their kicks out of going around and beating people, which is what they did before they became cops. But that's the kind of people they were looking to hire in that society. And it looks like that's the kind of people that Homeland Security is looking for. Well, that's it for our broadcast today. Join us again on Sunday. This is the end of the broadcast.